Stand up, New York Giant fans. What is going on, everybody? I know it's a little early stream today, but I'm off today. I go back to work tomorrow, and obviously the offensive line is, one of the biggest focal points for the New York Giants in this draft. Today we're going to get to see all the big ones. We're going to get to see the four guys everybody's been talking about. Mekhi Becton, obviously Wills, obviously Thomas, Wirfs. We're going to get to see all four of the guys. We're going to get to see how they compete. The three-cone drill, I think, is the most important drill when it comes to the offensive line. We're going to get to see the entertaining 40 time for the big fellas. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys move around, and obviously, this is more of a hangout than anything else. Ask me some Giant questions, everything else. We're doing this for at least 2.5, maybe 3 hours. It'll probably be a little bit of a slower stream, so I get to talk to you guys more, so it'll be a lot of fun. Was really looking forward to doing this. Thank you guys for checking out the videos, and thank you guys for being here. What's going on, Johnny T? What's going on, Smallville? What's going on, Moose? Lamel Sinclair in the house. Stelz in the house. Scotty H in the house. Karambite. Alex Sports in the house. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. And obviously, we're going to get to take a look at some of the centers as well, potential second-round prospects, whether it's the kid from Wisconsin, Beatish, obviously Cushenberry's another one. So there's a lot of guys we're going to get to take a good, hard, strong look at, in terms of offensive linemen in this draft. What's up, David? What's going on, Plaque? What's going on, Scotty H? Omkar in the house, man. What's up, man? Karambite says, if Brown plays D end and he is the second best D player, isn't that what he's not really a traditional D end. He's kind of like Lawrence. He's more athletic, I think, but he's kind of like Lawrence, where he's more of a DT that could shift to the D end in a 3-4 alignment. Oh, you and me both, man. Can't wait. Cannot wait for the draft, man. I have not, TD, but I will look into him. What position does he play? What's up, Rafael DeLuna, man? Thanks for being here, man. What OT do you want? I'm gonna have a video up. Yes, I did see that, Nikki, about Sean Lee. I'm not really interested. The guy's always hurt. He's 33 years old. I'm not really interested in him, to be completely honest with you. He was a great player, but he's always hurt. I'm gonna have a video up after the combine, talking about the stock of each one of these players, the offensive tackles. We're gonna see how they did. Right now, I'm still leaning Andrew Thomas or Jedrick Wills. I think those are my two favorites right now. That could change, but right now that's who I think would be my two favorites as of now. But we've heard conflicting reports. Mekhi Becton, Wirfs, it's changed, and who knows if they even go offensive line with the first pick. So I know a lot of Giants fans want them to, and we'll see if that's the case. Come draft night, and after free agency, we're gonna get a much better idea as to what the New York Giants are gonna be looking at. What's going on, Greg, man? What do you think about the Giants trading down? And so, listen, he's a good player as well. It depends how far we would trade down. I don't think I'd want to take him at 6, but if you could get him at 12, by all means, definitely a possibility. With Tua being healthy, with the report, higher chance Chase Young falls. I mean, it's definitely always a possibility that Chase Young could fall. What's going on, Charles, man? What's going on, Pumpkin? New Jersey Jake. I'll believe it when I see it, though. What's going on, Newcastle Giant, man? I appreciate the love, guys. Thank you guys for everybody for being here. But we hear something new all the time. Yeah, who knows, man? There's a lot of rumors that are circulating. And look at that. They got Mekhi Becton ranked 5th. I think that's Daniel Jeremiah's got Mekhi Becton ranked 5th. He's got Jedrick Wills ranked 12th. Andrew Thomas ranked 21st. He's got Austin Jackson 27th and Josh Jones at 40. In terms of tackles. That's where Jeremiah has him ranked. How athletic is Brown to switch position? He's pretty athletic, but he's big. He's 326 pounds. He's not going to be able to play the outside linebacker. I think he could play D-end on the 3-4 alignment, though. What's going on there, sports influencer? If you haven't checked him out, go check him out as well. He puts out 7-round mocks all the time. What's up, White Lotus? Who do you want them to pick if Chase Young does not fall and there are no trade downs? The question of the day. It's a tough spot, man. I'm still ask me that question after free agency. I gotta see the needs they address at free agency. But right now, I would lean offensive tackle. I would lean one of these guys today. But Okuda is certainly a possibility, as is Isaiah Simmons. I think that's what you're looking at right now. One of these tackles, Okuda or Isaiah Simmons, if we're staying at 4. But after free agency, we'll get a lot more clarity. As I'll be able to give you a definitive answer after free agency as to who I would want the New York Giants to take with that pick. Garlic rolls, pizza, and cannolis. What's going on, Joey Lutz? Big Blue Jabroni says, hey, how's it going, boys? It's draft season. Unfortunately, the best time for Giants fans. Yeah, we've been waiting for this time. We've been waiting for this for quite some time. We've been waiting for this for a while, man. And we got a lot of New York Giant diehard fans in here. Always love you guys, man. Popping in. Becton or Wills? I'm leaning Wills right now. But Becton's got a very high ceiling. He's huge. What's going on, Riot Clay, man? Thanks for popping in, man. Let's see what we got here. What's up, Irish New York sports fan? Who do you think Becton jumped so far up? Why do you think Becton jumped so far up draft boards? A month ago, he was projected early second round. We see it all the times in the drafts. I mean, I think people look, they got the punters running the 40 times right now. We're not interested in the punters. I know Sonora's if he's here. But I think people look at his size. I think he went to a smaller school. Maybe he didn't get, even though, Louisville's a big school, but it's not on the level of Alabama. I don't think he got the media attention. I think people look at his size. They look at his upside. And obviously I think, some of these experts saying very good things about him obviously helped his draft stock. We haven't heard much in terms of the Giants with Mekhi Becton coming out of their mouth. We've heard rumors about Wirfs. We haven't heard much from the Giants, though, regarding Becton. We'll have to wait and see if some things come out after this. But yeah, I think it's his size, and I think it's his upside. I think that's what people see in the guy. And when you watch him on film, he hasn't even come close to reaching his potential. I was saying last night, I was watching Lombardi's Breakdowns, who's got a great channel. He hasn't even come close to reaching his potential yet. He doesn't extend his arms enough. He's got such a high ceiling. Oh my God, Mike, man. Man. Thank you so much, man. Mike Nixon is a phenomenal subscriber of mine. You've been incredibly generous these last couple of days. I can never say thank you enough for that. Thank you for being a great part of my community. You're always giving me great stories in the Discord, everything like that. Great Giant fan, great supporter of my channel. I really appreciate that, Mike. $50 Super Chat. He says, I'm ready to watch some hog mollies. Love you, brother. Thanks for all the great content. Man, you got it, man. Thank you for being such a great supporter of my channel, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, man, I just want this to kind of almost be like a chat room for all the New York Giants fans to watch it, and we get to analyze the offensive linemen together. Obviously, everybody knows there's no secret. And Mike, man, thank you for the love, man. There's no secret. I am a huge offensive tackle fan in this draft. We have not hit on an early offensive tackle in quite some time, and I'm excited about it. I know a lot of people might not be excited about the big 300-pounders, but I am. And I know a lot of Giants fans that are subscribed to my channel are as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys do in the 40 times and the 3-cone drill, which I think is the most important when it comes to the offensive tackle. Like I said, right now they're doing the punters and special teamers. So we'll see with that. Yeah. Exactly, Mike. I don't know where Chris Sonor is, but Chris Sonor would absolutely love this part of the combine. He loves the punters. He loves the kickers. He should be here. We take Simmons and still get a good OT. That's a possibility. And we're going to be looking at those guys as well. Guys like Austin Jackson. That's a guy that you could potentially take in the second round. I don't think any of the top 4 are going to drop, but you never know. Like last year, all you got to do is go back and look at all the mock drafts before last year. There were several guys that nobody thought they were going to fall to where they did, and they did. So, you never know. Maybe Wirfs does fall to the second round. Anything's possible. But yeah, I'm sure the Giants are going to analyze it, and maybe one of these guys drops to later in the first round than people think, and the Giants move back up and grab them. Anything's possible when it comes to the NFL draft. Do we need a punter? Not in the draft. Not in the draft. I don't believe in taking punters in the draft. Our punter was our best player last year. Riley Dixon was our best player. We signed to a 3-year extension? We gave him $2.5 or $3 million a year. It was a pretty hefty contract for a punter. So no, that's probably our best position, actually, is the punter. Which is sad. He gets way too much practice. Chris Sonor loves the special teamers, man. How come no one is talking about AJ Spencer? It's a good question. AJ Spencer's a really good player. I forgot who I think it was Ben in my Discord, if I'm not mistaken. He had 7 sacks, I think, in his last 2 or 3 games out of Iowa. The one thing I'm not in love with AJ Spencer, he's kind of like married to the 4-3, and I don't think he'd bring versatility. He's a hell of a player. If the Giants draft him, if they trade down, I'd be completely for it if we trade down to like the 12 and 19 range with the Raiders. But he's not a guy that's going to really fit into the 3-4. He's more of a 4-3 defensive end. He's like 280 pounds, something like that. Upper two, maybe 270. But he's a really good player. And he's another guy that'll probably go mid-first round. CJ, what's going on, Tyler Haynes, man? Thanks for popping in. Should we bring in competition for... Wow, John Smith, man. Thanks for letting me. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you very much, man. John Smith's been another guy. He comments on a lot of my videos. He's in a lot of my live streams. Always shows a lot of love, man. Thank you to everybody for being here, by the way. I know it's early. I know a lot of people at work. You guys are diehards coming in here, hanging out with me. John Smith with a $20 super chat, man. Thanks for love, man. I really appreciate that. He says, say we trade down with the Chargers and pick up their second this year and a future second. Would you rather couple both our second-round picks and move back into the first, or just make both second-round picks since they'll both be early? Okay, that's a great question. So if we traded down, because somebody brought that up. I think it was, I was watching, I think it was Fireside Giants, that new channel with Mike Two Nights. I think one of the guys, I don't remember his name, brought up that exact possibility. If we were able to get 2 second-round picks at 36 and 37, coupling those 2 picks and moving back up until, like, the 20th pick, we'll say. And I think that's a great idea if there's a player there that's a can't miss. Like, I don't know, I can't think of a name off the top of my head, but if there's a player there that's very high on their draft board, say they got him ranked like 10th or 11th and he's there at like 20, and there's a team looking to trade down and they'd be willing to do a trade like that, maybe 23, 24, and you could couple the 36 and 37 to move up and get that player, I think it makes a lot of sense. Whether it's say it's Wirfs. Say they're very high on Wirfs. He's there at 23, 24, or Becton. Not that I expect that. That could be a scenario where you couple both those picks and move up to the back end of the first round, or, later first round, and grab that tackle. That's definitely a possibility. That I should have made a video on that. That was a great idea that they brought up. I saw that on their channel. What do you think of Mekhi Becton? I think he's a guy with an incredibly high ceiling. He's risky. I know a lot of Giants fans worry about him because of he's kind of similar. We got Trey Adams warming up, by the way. Trey Adams is an interesting prospect for the second round. Very talented offensive lineman, but he's had injury problems throughout his throughout his career in college. But definitely a guy you want to keep an eye on, and definitely a guy that could go early second round if he can impress people. He does not look that fast, but we're not going to see a lot of guys that look very fast. He ran a 5.640. Trey Adams, the big fella out of Washington, but a very talented offensive lineman that has dropped because of injuries, but very talented. He's good in both run and pass blocking from what I've read. I do like Becton, though. He's got a very high ceiling, but he's risky. What's going on, Damon? Thanks for popping in the stream. What's going on, Afghanistan? What did Nikki say? Nikki, is that true? Nikki said, I missed what Nikki said. But thank you guys for being here. I do appreciate it. He tore his Achilles senior year. Yeah, he's had a couple of injuries. This is not one of the bigger offensive linemen. We're waiting on the big guys. Crombite, if the trade I said last night happens, I deserve all the credit. I forgot what you said. What's going on, Swaggertron? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Thank you to everybody for being here. I do appreciate. Thank you guys for being the best supporters on YouTube. I say it all the time. Yeah, man. Thank you guys for watching my videos, coming in my live streams. I'm going to try to do more of these as the draft gets closer, as free agency gets closer. We got Cushenberry coming up. There's another pretty big offensive lineman in the center. He'll be up. Becton. We got Becton on deck. And then we got Cushenberry in 5. It's going to be interesting to see what Becton runs. Becton is huge. 300, I don't know what he weighed in at. It probably about 365. Guy's a monster. But people say he's very nimble. We'll see what he runs in comparison to some of the other bigger offensive linemen. This guy's moving pretty fast here. He's not as big as a guy like Becton. 5.22. We'll see what Becton runs. Around 370. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing... I appreciate that, Newcastle, man. Thank you very much, man. What are your first thoughts on Harkless, on Mo Harkless for the Knicks? I mean, I was always a big fan of Harkless. I'm a St. John's fan. I don't think he's gonna do much with the Knicks. I think he's probably a player they get rid of after this year, but I could be wrong. I've always liked him. I've rooted for him. I'm a huge St. John's fan. He was decent with the Blazers there for a little bit. But here we go. Here's Becton. He weighed in at 364 pounds. He stands at 6'7" and 3/8. Jeremiah has him far and away ranked as his best offensive lineman. Look at this big fella move. What is he going to time in at? Wow. Mekhi Becton. Now this 40 time might not sound incredible to you guys. Mekhi Becton weighs 365 pounds. This guy's almost 6'8". He just ran a 5.11. He just ran a better 40 time than pretty much every offensive lineman before him. Trey Adams ran a 5'6". He ran a 5.11. Wow. Wow. That guy can move. Woo. That guy's helping his draft stock, man. That guy weighs almost 400 pounds. He's almost 375 pounds. Yeah, I heard that everything Packers about Austin Hooper. Oh, man, Greg, man, thank you so much, man, for the love, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. I don't know what currency that is. You've donated a couple of times, but I'll say $10, I think. And he says, I know we had more holes on our team than a box of Cheerios. Would you be mad if the G-men select one of the top-tier wideouts? Okay, listen. Listen, these wideouts, especially CeeDee Lamb yesterday, the catch that CeeDee Lamb made yesterday was incredible. And I know it drew highlights all over social media. And I know both these guys are really talented. I'm just not of the belief if they traded down to the 12 and 19 and one of those guys fell there, I'm not going to cry about it. I mean, those guys are great. At 4, I wouldn't want to take a wide receiver. Am I going to go nuts on draft night if they do? No. I mean, these guys are going to be upper echelon wide receivers. You're going to help out your quarterback. You're going to help out your running back by bringing one of those guys in. So I completely understand why people are in on the wide receivers. But me personally, I think 4 is too early. If you trade down to the mid-first, possible. Oh, man, thank you so much, man, Mike, man. Thank you for the love, man. $10 super chat, man. He says, I'm sold on Becton at 4. I am sold. All it took was a 40 time, and Giants fans are going nuts now. We'll see how he does in the 3-cone drill, man. Mike, man, thanks again, man, for all the incredible generosity and love and everything you bring to my channel. Big Daddy does not like Big Daddy's another phenomenal subscriber of mine. Yeah, Ryan Sullivan, another great subscriber. You guys comment on all my videos all the time. Thank you guys for being here. No, we don't want you, Eric Flowers. But Big Daddy always breaks down the film very well. He always comments on all my videos. He does not like Becton. He's a big Andrew Thomas guy, and I'm excited to see what he does. But Becton definitely running impressive 40 time for a man of his size. Yeah, 4.94 for the last guy. And here's Cushenberry. Moose, I'll see you soon, buddy. Let's see what Cushenberry's got. Cushenberry, probably going to be a second-round center out of LSU, a guy we could certainly be looking at in the second round. I don't think, if we wanted him, I don't think we're getting him after that, being that we're picking so late in the third with the comp pick. But we'll see how he does here. See if he can help his draft stock. It is fun to watch these big guys run. Cushenberry runs a 5.28, the center out of LSU. Andrew Thomas is the safest line. Andrew Thomas has played the left tackle. We cannot draft. I don't want to draft the defensive tackle. When I made that video today, I tried to explain. I always try to be, I guess, unbiased. And I tried to explain the only way it would even be remotely acceptable. But I do not want to take a defensive tackle by any stretch of the imagination. If we're going defense, I want to go edge rusher. I want to go cornerback or linebacker. I don't want to go defensive tackle. And it's something that Dave Gettleman loves. The only way it would even be remotely acceptable is if you did not bring back Leonard Williams. Because then his argument could be, well, we brought in Leonard Williams because we felt like we had a hole there. But we didn't think Leonard Williams was worth the price. We then traded down. We were able to get Brown to fill that void. We didn't pay him the $15 million that Leonard Williams was going to cost. And we were able to use that money elsewhere, and we were able to get assets. That's the only thing that makes remote sense to me. But there's no way you could bring him in if you keep Leonard Williams. It would make zero sense. I don't want him regardless. Like I've said, I've been pretty consistent. If we're going defense, I want either Simmons or Okudah. I'm still preferring offensive tackle, but if we're going defense, I prefer Simmons or Okudah. What's going on, Eric Flowers, you son of a bitch? Yeah, Becton ran a nice 40 for a man his size. Yeah, who doesn't like Isaiah Simmons? Isaiah Simmons is great. The knock on Simmons, like I've said throughout, a lot of people say he's kind of married to, he's not married to a specific position. He's not big enough to be that every down middle linebacker, things like that. But in the modern day NFL, those are the types of players you want. Players that can, he basically could do the things that a corner could do at the linebacker position. He's incredibly valuable. I would love to have him on the team. But I also would love to fix the offensive line. So, I guess the good thing is for the Giants is they have a number of options here. Let's just hope they pick one of the ones that make sense at number 4. Who's Bobby Portis? Bobby Portis is an NBA player for the New York Knicks. Hot Nichols. He's not that good. He's not that good. What's up, Cushmaster, man? Thank you for popping in, man. You're feeling on few or no trades in the top 10. I think there's going to be trades. There's always trades. If you go back, if you don't look at last year's draft, if you go back before that, I couldn't even believe it when I read it. 10 out of the last 11 quarterbacks drafted before last year were traded up for, that were first-round quarterbacks. And all you got to do is go back and look at the draft where we took Saquon Barkley. Outside of, obviously, Mayfield, because he was the first pick, the next 4 quarterbacks were traded up for in the first round. So I definitely think there's going to be trades. And you have 2 teams that are picking, 3 teams if you include the Redskins, that don't need a quarterback, that are in a position to trade down. So there's going to be trades. I would be shocked if there was not a trade with one of those 3 teams, if not 2. I'd be shocked. Free agency is better for tackles. It is and it isn't. I can make the argument that it isn't. Because, look what happened with Nate Solder. The thing with tackles is when a team drafts a really good tackle, they very rarely, unless there's a reason for it, let that tackle hit free agency. The tackles that usually hit free agency are guys like Nate Solder, who are pretty good, that are going to command top-tier money, and the team doesn't feel like they're worth it. If a team has an elite tackle, they're not going to let him hit free agency. So you could certainly make the argument that it's smarter, at least in my opinion, to draft the tackle as opposed to signing one in free agency. That's just my take. It's very rare that you find a tackle that was great that a team found in free agency. And here's Jake Driscoll of Auburn running. What's going on, Chris? Did you hear that Tua felt unsettled about his fit with Miami? I did not hear about that. I did hear... Are you just looking at Giants' point of view? I don't know what you mean by that, Clocks. I don't know what you mean by that. How would you feel about a trade back with the Raiders and taking a tackle in 12? And yeah, I'm going to have a video on that. I'm just waiting until after free agency. But that is, and they got Matt Hennessy about to run too. We still haven't seen Wills. They're going to be in the second because it's alphabetical. We haven't seen Wills. We haven't seen Wirfs. And we haven't seen Thomas. They'll all be in the second group. Hennessy's a potential second-round prospect as well. We're about to see him run the 40. Mekhi or Simmons? That's... More and more people are getting in on Mekhi Becton. More and more people, especially if you run that 40 time. Oh, yeah. Independent Outsider, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. He says, for your non-sloppy analysis, LOL, take that, Okuda. I thought that was a great response by Okuda. I was laughing when I read that. And thanks for the love, Independent Man. You knew that he was prepared for that, to be asked that. And that is an incredible stat, that he did not get called for a pass interference or defensive holding penalty his entire last season at Ohio State. I was shocked by that. Will the Redskins stick with Haskins or draft? I think they're going to stick with Haskins. I don't think that Haskins was ready last year. I think they rushed him into it. I don't think he should have even went into the draft. We know why he went into the draft. It was millions of dollars. Had he come out this year, he's probably not a first-round pick. Because you look at the guys, maybe he's above Love. I don't know, but he saw last year as a weak quarterback draft, and he saw an opportunity to jump in and make his money. I don't think he was ready. I think the Redskins are going to give him another year. I could be wrong. Maybe they're blown away by 2, and they do actually take him. We're not going to know until draft night. Cruz, thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate that, man. $2, another great subscribe. What's up, Hot Take Hockey, man? Glad to see you here, man. Great channel over there. Cruzon says 4 offensive tackles will be gone before the 15th pick. Shaking my head. I probably agree with you in this draft. 4 of them might be gone by the 12th pick. When do the Jets pick? 11th or 12th? There's a good chance the Jets could take a tackle. You can make an argument that at least 3 will be gone by the Jets pick. I agree with you. I think 4 more than likely. Now, shocking things can happen. We saw it last year at that position, but more than likely, you're right. I mean, a lot of guys like Cody Ford went a lot later than people thought, but you're probably right. All 4 of these guys probably go in the top 15. If one were to drop, maybe it's Wirfs because people think he could be a guard. It's possible. When you see a guy run a surprising 40 or have one great combine drill, when are you impressed and when do you see red flags? No, I mean, you can't. I mean, this is kind of just fun. The combine is a tool. You can't judge a player entirely off the combine. The most important drill for an offensive lineman is the 3-cone drill. From everything I've read, you go back and look at guys that have been successful offensive linemen. The 3-cone drill is the most important measuring tool when it comes to the NFL combine for offensive linemen. I think film study is much more important when regarding these prospects. I think what you see on game film is much more important than athletic ability. Now, of course, when you see a guy like Mekhi Becton, who's almost 370 pounds, run a 5.1140, and a man of his stature, you're going to be impressed. And he's running again. Let's see what he runs. 5.13. So pretty consistent there. He ran a 5.11 and a 5.13. That's crazy. And they're comparing him to Trent Brown, who went early in the draft, a man of a similar stature. Brown was 355 pounds, 6'8 and a half. He ran a 5.29. Becton ran a 5.11. And I think Trent Brown, if I'm not mistaken, I think he went first overall, right? I can't remember, but he was early. So there you go. Over under 6.5 combined number of quarterbacks and offensive linemen selected in the top 15 picks. Over. I'll say at least 7. I'm taking the over there. I could see 3 offensive linemen and 4 quarterbacks, or I could see 4 offensive linemen and 3 quarterbacks. I'll go over. I'll say 7 is the number. They're showing highlights here of Becton playing basketball. That's a big man. What's going on, Gino? Thanks for popping in, man. Would you offer the Bears a trade for Mack? I'm not looking to trade for players that are making a lot of money that are up there in age. We're a team that's young. We're trying to build through the draft. I don't want to bring in players that are already getting paid a lot of money. No, I would not. No, unless they want to hand them to us for like a very small price tag. But no, I'm not interested in doing that. Yeah, the 10 yards. Yeah, I think he had a 1.71 10-yard split. Cruise on. What's up, Golden Man? Thanks for popping in. Who do you think we're taking with the 4th pick? Yeah, I'm going to get asked this question all offseason. And it's impossible. It's impossible to answer because I'm not going to know until free agency who my honest projected pick is going to be. Right now I'm leaning offensive tackle, but if they address that in free agency, that's going to change. I'm going to have another mock draft up after the completion of the combine. I told you guys yesterday I'm going to do a full first round, and then probably 2 or 3 days later, I'm then going to do a second round. So, I'll title it, first 2 rounds, but I'll just quickly show my first round and then do a second round off of it. Probably 2 or 3 days after I do my first round, but probably like a day or 2 after the combine's over, which I think is Sunday or Monday. I'll have my next mock draft up. It'll be a complete first round. There's going to be trades this time. I'll have a couple of trades, I'm sure, what I actually think is going to happen. And it's still way too early to judge, but it's fun to do to learn some of the prospects and some of the team needs. So Cushenberry just hurt his hamstring. That's not good. The center from LSU, he pulled up on his hamstring there. Hopefully it's just a Charlie horse. He's walking it off. But that's going to affect his 40 time. He ran a 5.63. Oh, man, OGR, man. Thank you so much, man, for the love, man. $20 super. Again, I'm going to say it again. If you guys have not gone over to OGR, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go on over there and show him a lot of love, man. He says, just dropping by for now. I'm coming back. I need to record a quick thank you video. I need to watch the Hogs for a little with you. Great vids, my man, today. I really appreciate that, man. And I got to get OGR on the channel soon. Definitely got to get you on the channel soon. It's just I've been having so much problem with the lags and everything. But maybe, I know I want to do a recorded mock draft. That's something I definitely got to get you with. Maybe we'll do the, I forgot what the app is called, but there's a way to bring in 3 or 4 people. I want to do that with a bunch of Giants YouTubers, and I would love to have him on, talk draft needs. Another thing I want to do this season is, I don't know what I'm going to title it, But one thing I've been thinking about doing is a almost like a interview type thing where I have a different Giants YouTuber on once a week. Just talk about this team, a 30-minute conversation once a week with a different Giants YouTuber. So that's another thing I'm thinking about doing. So I'm looking forward to doing different things with my channel throughout the year. But OGO, man, thanks so much for the love, man. Answer my last question. What did you ask, Moose? Let me see. Would you sign Eric Berry or Des Bryant? Nope. And I don't see them doing that because, the head coach basically came out and said he doesn't have interest in signing veterans. I don't see it. I don't see either one of them. I know Des Bryant has the connection to Jason Garrett. I don't see it. If we're going to bring in a Dallas Cowboy, Sean Lee maybe, but I don't see that either. On a one-year deal. I know there were rumors about that today. I don't see that. I don't think they're going to be bringing in players like that. What's up, Jay Zach? He says only 44 likes. I am disgusted. Jay Zach's another great. That's another guy I want to have on for the mock draft. When we do the group mock draft, I did it with him last year. It was actually Jay Zach, me, and OGR. That's another guy I want to have on this year for that. I love Jay Zach. Great guy. Very knowledgeable, very passionate New York Giants fan. So thanks for being here, buddy. Well, why even have Lineman run the 40? Well, I think it shows their athleticism. But like Cruzon said, the 10-yard split is what you're really looking at with the linemen to see how they get off the line of scrimmage. I appreciate that, Face Man. Thanks for the love, man. Chris, how many upgrades or players do you think the Giants are away from 10-plus wins? I say 7 or 8. Why are you never going to get a Mac now? 7 or 8? Well, let's see. We need at least one linebacker. We need at least one edge rusher. We need at least, I don't know if we need a cornerback, but we need one of those guys to gel into being an elite cornerback, so I'll say we need a cornerback. We probably need 2 players in the secondary, player in the linebacking core, player in the edge rusher. That's 4. At least 2 offensive linemen. That's 6. I would say 7. Maybe a big play wide receiver. 6 or 7. I think that's a fair number. And you're gonna have to find those players via the draft free agency. Of course, we have players that could develop and get better that are currently on the roster that are very young that could fill those roles as well. But yeah, I think that's fair. 6 or 7 players. Did Thomas go yet? No, he's gonna be in the second group. It's alphabetical. So the 3 out of the 4 big ones are not in the first group. Becton was the only one. In the second group, you're gonna have Wills. You're gonna have the other 3 big ones: Wirfs, Wills, and Thomas. You clicked off porn to watch me. Oh, DJB, you horn dog. Oh, I'm glad you're watching me stream instead of that. But I hope you're not doing the same thing. Baun, I like Baun as a second-round prospect out of Wisconsin. I did some research. I did a video on him. I actually like him a lot. Depending on what we do in the first round, I like Baun. How much money should they save heading into the start of the season? I'd say I think they're going to save about 20 to 25 mil. That's what Gettleman said. I don't know if that includes draft expenses. I've read conflicting reports in terms of the draft. I've read $10 million. I've read $13 million. Between 10 and 13 is what the draft's going to cost. I don't know if that 20 to 25 is included. The draft expenses are included in that. But yeah, I think probably $20 million will be set aside for in-season moves and draft expenses at a bare minimum. And I think that's just obvious. Like, you think back to last year, we brought some players in. If they want to make a trade in season and the player makes more money than the player they're giving up, well, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need that wiggle room. If you want to bring in a guy, via free agency, you're gonna need that wiggle room. So, you want to have at least $7 to $10 million, I would think, set aside for in-season moves to go along with draft expenses. Oh, man, Bills and the Giants, man. Thanks for the love, man. $2 super chat. You can't forget about it. He said, who would you take Becton at 4? Is he an all-pro in 2? Would you take Becton at 4? Is he an all-pro in 2 years? I'm still leaning. I don't know if he's still here, but like Big Daddy has said, I'm still leaning right now. Right now. And we'll see what people have to say after the fact, the 3-cone draw, everything else. I'm still leaning that I think Andrew Thomas is the safer of all the offensive linemen. But I'm not going to be upset if they take him. Obviously, you hope he works out. He's got immense upside. I'm not going to cry if they take him. I still want to trade down. I want to trade down almost no matter what, because I think we're going to be able to get one of these offensive linemen at 6. I think we're going to be able to get one of these offensive linemen at 7, at 9, at 12 even. So I still want to trade down in an ideal world as of now. Of course, if Chase Young falls in our lap at 4, I'm not trading down. But, right now. Would you draft Isaiah Simmons at number 4 or get an offensive lineman right now? Offensive lineman. That's just me, though. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I know a lot of Giants fans are very, very much sold on Isaiah Simmons. You look at our offensive line right now. You have, and I don't know if Cruzon's still here. I know he's very much for the offensive line as well. Look at our offensive line. You have no center. You have no right tackle. Remmers is gone. You got Nate Solder, who's been mediocre at best at the left tackle. And you've got 2 guards, one of which you hope progresses in Hernandez, and Zeitler is good. But they've got 2.5 to 3 holes on their offensive line. You've got a second-year quarterback, and you've got a third-year running back. You've got to give these guys a chance while they're on their rookie deals to progress and get better. And in turn, with the offense getting better, it's going to help the defense because of ball control, things like that. You got to build a team around Saquon Barkley. So right now, before knowing what they're going to do in free agency, before knowing what they're going to address, offensive line is number 1 priority for me. That's me. Oh, Greg, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $2 super chat. You can forget about it. I appreciate that, man. Nick Gates is the right. Gates could certainly play right tackle. I really want him to be more of a depth guy, a guy that can move around, play some right tackle, play some left tackle. But he certainly is. I'm Vance. Vance is another great subscriber. Vance is all the way from Alaska. Giants fan. Vance, I don't think I ever asked you. Are you originally from New York? Because I know you're a New York fan. He's from Alaska. But as far, I love Corey Littleton. Corey Littleton is basically Isaiah Simmons. I'm not saying that. I mean, he's really good. I like Corey Littleton a lot, but they're a very similar player. I'm a big fan of Littleton, depending on the contract. That was the first guy I did a free agency preview video on. I like Littleton a lot. I'd be very happy with him. Sek's awesome. Big J. He always shows love and tunes into my streams. He's awesome. Is there actually any good value on offensive line in free agency? Shout out to the Alaska New York Giants fans. Yes. Is there actually any good value in? Well, I think Conklin. I don't know if you consider that good value, but it's very rare. I was talking about this last night. It's so rare that you see an offensive lineman as talented as him, as young as he is, hit the free agency. Now, I know why he's hitting free agency. 1, he has an injury history. He had an injury 2 years ago, obviously, that was very bad. And 2, the Titans have a lot of other needs that they need to address, and they only have so much money to do it. But, I think Conklin, it's very rare you see an offensive lineman as talented as him hit free agency. So, I think he's a good potential guy to bring in. He'd cost you a pretty penny, though. In terms of other positions, I mean, the center, there's a couple. McGovern's a guy a lot of people talk about out of Denver. He's probably going to cost you about $11 million a year on a 4-year deal. I don't think Costanzo's going to hit the open market, and he's 32 years old. But maybe if you could get him on a 2-year deal, a 3-year deal, he's a possibility. I think the Colts will hold on to him. There's not really a lot of good tackles outside of that, at least from what I've seen. The guy from the Patriots. I read an article today on him, Sullivan, that 20 teams are interested in bringing him in. But he would be a center, not a tackle. We definitely need a center. How great could Joe Judge and this coaching staff make this roster? Well, Joe, I mean, a coaching staff is only as good as their players at the end of the day. Now, credit to Belichick. Belichick never had the most talented players, but he was, and look at Beck didn't move here, but he never had the most talented roster, in terms of personnel, but he found players that fit their roles and he got players to buy in. So I do think a coaching staff and a culture could have a lot to do with a team's success. But you still need the talent, and you need the talent to develop. So we'll see. Joe, I can't honestly tell you. I could tell you that I feel very highly about Joe Judge. I could tell you that I like a lot of the decisions he's made in terms of the coaching staff, which I do. But I can't tell you definitively how he's going to do yet, if I'm being completely honest. He's never been a head coach. but I do like a lot of the things that he's done with the coaching staff. I like that there's familiarity with that throughout the staff. I think Jason Garrett is going to be a good offensive coordinator. I firmly believe that. We'll see. I like the coaching staff, but they need the players to develop, which Joe Judge has expressed as his main goal, and they need to get talent. They need to continue to draft well. Let's see what we got here. Chris, good draft trivia question. Name only draft where 4 of the top 5 picks went to the Hall of Fame. Hint, the guy who didn't go was a top 3 bust of all time. That's a tough one. A top 3 bust of all time? That means he's got to be... Is that the Peyton Manning draft? I'm trying to think who went in that draft. Obviously Peyton. Ryan Leaf would be the top 3 bust. Was Edgerrin James in that draft? No, he couldn't have been because he went to the Colts. Is it the 97? Is it the I doubt it. Is it the Peyton Manning draft? Becton looks a little mean too, which is a great attribute for a lineman. Yeah, he does look mean. I appreciate that, DJB. I appreciate it. How would you rank these 4? Becton, Thomas, Wirfs, Wills. Me personally, I'm still going Thomas 1. But they all have their strengths. They all have their weaknesses. From what, when you watch them on film, I'm still going Thomas 1. Thomas or Wills. It's close for me. I'll go Thomas, Wills, Becton, Wirfs, but I like all of them. And I'm not going to be upset if we get any of them. We need talent. We need young talent. No, bro, but you know it easily. Okay. I'm trying to think of huge busts early on in draft. Somebody mentioned Jamarcus Russell. Kajana Carter was another huge bust. I got to think about that. You put me on the spot, Cox. You put me on the spot. Corey Davis was a huge bust, but I Baker maybe, yeah. Well, he said it's got to be an older draft because he said 4 already in the Hall of Fame, so it's got to be an older draft. What do you think about drafting Andrew Thomas at 4 and then drafting Becton at 36 if the Redskins end up drafting Chase Young? I don't think we're getting back. Becton's not going to be there at 36. I'd be shocked. And if we take Andrew Thomas, I think we got to address the defense with the second pick. Or center, but I wouldn't take 2 tackles. Tony Mandrich, a huge bust. Yeah. Ron Dame but Ron Dame wasn't a top 5 pick. I'm trying to think of guys that were top 5 picks that were huge busts. Huh. I know when I hear it, I'm going to, obviously I'm going to kill, get upset. Yeah, give me the answer. There's no way I'm going to get this, Clocks. Give me the answer. What's up, Ryu, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. Who won the OBJ trade? Robert Gallery. That is probably it. I think he went 2nd overall to the Raiders. Robert Gallery was a huge bust. I'm trying to remember who went in that draft. Oh, man, yeah, Robert Gallery was a huge bust. That might be the answer, Ryan. Who won the OBJ trade? I mean, right now, I think the New York Giants won the OBJ trade. I mean, how could you say they didn't? The way OBJ played his first year and what he's getting paid. $1989, Aikman, Mandridge, Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, Deion Sanders. There you go. And there you go. I should have gotten that. Well, I don't know if I should have gotten that, but I mean, those are all great players. Obviously, Deion Sanders, arguably the greatest corner since I've been watching football. Troy Aikman, 3 Super Bowls. Barry Sanders, the most talented running back probably ever. And Derek Thomas died early, but he was a phenomenal pass rusher. I think he had, 20 sacks one year for the Chiefs. There you go. There you go. Chris, can you believe these rumors about Brady going to the Giants? No. It's nonsense. It's not going to happen. There's a 0% chance that it's going to happen. Tana, can you let us know how Andrew Thomas, Becton, and Wirfs do? So yeah, they're not. They haven't gone yet. It's still the first group. Strider, Ryu rather. They're doing the cone drill right now with Trey Adams. Looks like. There's Joe Judge. They're showing Joe Judge there. He's got his hoodie on with his blue jeans. There's Joe Judge. If you recognize my name, you'll know who I want to draft. Rusty. Trey Adams is slow, man. Let's see what Becton. I think Becton's on deck. Oh, you always gotta love when these offensive linemen run when you see the butt crack. I think Becton's coming up soon. Hey, Chris, did you know that Isaiah... Yeah, I think he will. I think he will. Did I miss Becton? Or maybe he's not doing this drill. Maybe he's not doing this drill. I think they skipped Becton. Why do we have to trade back for a lineman? Why can't we take a lineman at 4? I'm completely with you. Here's the thing. If you could trade to 5 or 6, you could probably still get the same exact lineman and get an extra second-round pick. That's why. Like, if you're picking 4 and the Dolphins want to assure they get their quarterback so the Chargers don't take that spot or whoever, and they come to you and say, we're going to give you the 5, we're going to give you our second-round pick, why wouldn't you do that deal? So that's why in the position the Giants are in, if the right deal presents itself, you could still take your offensive lineman and you could get an extra pick out of it. So that's the reasoning, well, at least in my opinion, why they should trade down. Yeah, Becton's a beast, man. What's up, Mizrahi? Do you know when I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, man, it's not today. I think today's the running backs and offensive line. I think it's tomorrow. I will keep an eye on him, Stenor. Here's Matt Hennessy. Hennessy's pretty fast, looks like. I forgot to take the cap off the water. Now, they're not showing the times, during these drills. They're just showing you how they move. I have not been impressed with Trey Adams. I know I said in one of my videos that Trey Adams is a potential second-round prospect. He looks a little... He's big, but I have not been that impressed with him. That's the one thing I can tell you. And obviously, Becton had an impressive 40 time. Dave Gettleman is in the chat. Combine's on the NFL Network. Oh, important question. We need a backup running back. Who do you like, free agent or draft? Yeah, somebody asked me that yesterday. Jordan Howard, in terms of free agency, I think fits our need, and he might be somewhat affordable because he's coming off an injury. He's a guy that runs between the tackles. And I keep forgetting the guy's name. Somebody said it yesterday. It's escaped me, but he's a guy he's 245 pounds. He's being mocked in like the 6th or 7th round. Would be a guy, I can't remember his name. But that I was looking at a running back that's going in the 6th or 7th round. Dillon. Yeah, A.J. Dillon. That's it. A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon. Backup quarterback. Okay, so Becton's done for the day. He just ran the 40 time. See, if it was me, I did a video on this too, the free agency quarterbacks. If it was me, let me move this real quick. Whoops. If it was me, I would try to address the backup quarterback in free agency because you've got a young quarterback with Daniel Jones. I don't want to waste any draft picks on a quarterback. I want to build the team around Daniel Jones, and I would try to add a veteran in free agency unless you want to bring back the guy that we had last year, but he sucks. And there's a number of veterans out there, and I did a video on it, that they could potentially attack, but I would try to bring in a veteran presence as the backup quarterback in free agency. I wouldn't want to draft one. I know a couple people brought up Hurts as a potential option. No. I don't want to use a third, a fourth, a fifth round pick on a quarterback. We have our quarterback. We have so many holes on this roster. I don't want to waste any of our picks on a quarterback. But I would like to add one in free agency for, an affordable price. And there's a number of guys. There's too many names to list. There's like 10 guys that they could look at. Mariota, I think is going to look to compete for a job. I don't think he'd want to come to the Giants, and I think he's going to cost more than you'd want to pay. Bortles is possible. Mike Glennon's another one. There's a number of them. There's a number. Chase Daniels is another one. There's a lot of them. Case Keenum, but Case Keenum is probably going to look for an opportunity to start. Which O-line butt crack do I love the most? We spoke about collaborating. Twitter. You can message me on Twitter. And the link's in the description below. How would you rank Littleton, Van Noy, and Jamie Collins for free agency availability? Who do you think we could use, and how good of a deal could we make? Okay. Gore's another one. Another veteran running back who they could potentially get on a cheap deal. All right, in terms of talent and age, you got to go Littleton. I mean, we'll get into the contract cost, but in terms of just pure talent, I'd probably have Littleton 1. I'd probably have Jamie Collins 2. I'd probably have Van Noy 3. But it's obviously they're probably going to cost that much in that order, right? Littleton's going to get paid the most, in my opinion, because he's the best linebacker on the open market. He's probably going to get at least. You go back and look at last year. Mosley with the Jets. And I'm not, you could argue who's better, whatever, but it doesn't matter. It's the way the market works. Mosley was the best linebacker last year. Mosley got paid over $17 million a year with the Jets. So Littleton is going to expect that. That's just being realistic. Littleton's going to want to get paid, and he's valuable at that position. So the question is, would you rather pay a guy like Littleton $17 million, or would you rather bring in someone like Van Noy or Jamie Collins for like $11? I think that's probably the going rate for one of those two players. And you're not committing 4 or 5 years. You're probably getting those two players for 3 with the ability to get out after 2. So it depends on what you value Littleton at. Do you value Littleton as an elite linebacker that you think is worthy of a 5-year deal at $17 or $18 million a year? Or do you think you could spend that money better elsewhere? It's a tough one. It really is. I mean, Littleton's the best player, but is he worth a 5-year contract? That's what you got to ask yourself, because he's going to get paid. I appreciate that, Landon. Thank you very much. What's up, Famos, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Stand up, Nathan, man. Thanks for being here, man. Do you think it's better to go defensive playmaker for an O-line early second round? I keep getting asked that question. I think it's right now before free agency. I think O-line's our biggest need, but we need both. But right now, before free agency, I go O-line's our biggest need, because I don't think you're going to get a great O-lineman in free agency. I think there's a stronger possibility you're going to get an impact defensive player in free agency than you are an offensive lineman. The only supreme tackle is going to be Conklin, and every team's going to be biting for his services. So I don't know. That's why I think offensive lineman in the draft might be the better way to go. What would a guy like Teddy Bridgewater command to? Listen, Afghanistan. My mouth dropped the other day. And now we got, I guess, see, I don't really care about any of these guys anymore, because now none of the first-round prospects are going, because Becton only did the 40 time. They're showing, there's some second-round prospects here, but word came out the other day that Bridgewater, I don't know how valid this is, but Teddy Bridgewater wanted $30 million a year. My mouth hit the floor. But the crazy thing is, Afghanistan, that's the going rate for quarterbacks. That's what they get paid in today's game. You look at, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo had 5 starts, right, with New England. The guy got paid around that money. I think he was the highest paid quarterback in the league at the time when he signed the extension with the San Francisco 49ers. So teams are so desperate for quarterbacks that they're willing to pay. Would I do that? No. I have a very off-the-wall theory when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL, and a lot of people might call me nuts. If I was a general manager, this is my honest take on the quarterback position if I was a general manager. Unless I've got Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers in his prime, I'm not keeping quarterbacks for more than 6 years. I think the market is insane. I'd much rather look for my next quarterback in the draft, pay him on his rookie contract, than allocate $35 million to a quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater or $35 million to a average to slightly above average quarterback. I'd rather build my team. I'd rather spend that extra $30 million on the offensive line and defense. You look at all these quarterbacks that have gotten these extensions. How do their teams do after they get them? Look at the Giants. I love Eli Manning. After Eli Manning got paid, how did we do? After Stafford got paid, how did the Lions do? After Matt Ryan got paid, how did the Falcons do? Unless I've got a elite top 5 quarterback, I'm not giving them that kind of money. It's insane. But they're going to get it because teams are desperate for a quarterback. Littleton taking a pay cut to play for the Packers or Saints. Maybe he'll take a slight pay cut, but he's going to get paid. Brosconson, yeah, I watch the Knicks every now and again. They're hard to watch, but yes, when I got nothing better to do, I watch the Knicks every now and again, but it is a low season. It's been horrible, just like every Knicks season. Littleton taking a pay cut. I think Littleton's going to look to get paid. Free agency starts the 18th, but I think you're going to start to receive word on the 16th. That's what happened last year. 2 days before the official date, you're allowed to talk to the players, and that's when you start to get things that leak. Because I remember I did like 50 videos yesterday breaking all the news, and the word comes out about two days before the actual date. Of a lot of players at least where they're going. So 16th, we're probably going to start to get some things leaked. At midnight on the 16th is when you're allowed to start talking to players. So the player that the team is most interested in, they usually have a meeting set up at midnight. So if the Giants' number 1 target's Conklin, they'll be talking to Conklin at midnight probably on the 16th. If you had to bet, do the Giants pick number 4 or elsewhere? Elsewhere. I would say it's more likely at this point in time at least that we trade down. If I had to bet. You haven't missed a lot. I mean, it's a Q&A. I mean, it's hard to do a play-by-play of the combine, but Becton was the only top-tier offensive lineman that is Ren, but he's not doing any drill but the 40. He ran a 5.11, which is insane for a man his size. He's almost 370 pounds. He ran a 5.11. Guy can move. I'd be for that. If you get him for that, Mizrahi, I'm jumping on that. You see CeeDee Lamb tape. You seen CeeDee Lamb on tape for you a dog for the end zone? I don't know if you're referring to the catch he made yesterday. The catch he made was phenomenal. When it comes to O-line, how I judge them is how long it takes them to squat their big arse on my camera. Yeah, man, that's a good way to judge it. Official time was 5:10. I truly believe Unique has to be the top target. Fill our biggest need with a Pro Bowl 24-year-old. Hey, you know what? I understand it. He's young, and a lot of people feel like he has upside. He's going to get paid, but unfortunately, when you bring in here's the thing I look at. If the Giants are going to bring in a top free agent at any position, they're going to get overpaid. That's the way the market is. Everybody gets overpaid. If they're going to overpay someone, I want them to at least be young, and at least Unique fits that credential. I don't think it's going to happen, though, because everything I've read about Ngakoue is the Jaguars are going to franchise tag him, and I expect that to be the case. I think he's going to get franchise tagged. Now, maybe he's tagged and traded. We'll have to wait and see. He's not worth that, but unfortunately, everybody gets overpaid. What's going on, Kristaps Porzingis? Chris, I can sign you to a 1-year deal, $2 million. Yes. I'd get killed, Dave Gettleman, but I'll do it. I expect the tag and trade. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. It happened last year with we've talked about it several times. Everybody, I've seen people on YouTube talk about, players getting tagged, so there's no way the Giants could get them. Well, that's just not the case. The 3 best defensive pass rushers last year were all tagged and traded. All 3 of them. So it doesn't necessarily mean if they're tagged, they're going to be kept. Like, if the Jaguars or whoever, name the player, Matt Judon with the Ravens, if they feel like they're going to be a headache and they're going to hold out and they feel like they're only going to be able to hold on to this player for a year, they might look to trade him. Now, you're probably going to have to give up a decent price for it. But it's definitely an option. It happened 3 times last year. It happened with D Ford. It happened with Jadeveon Clowney. And it happened with Frank Clark. So it could definitely happen. Yeah, Becton is fast. Chris, I agree with your 30 million plus quarterback view. That's why they don't win after how come GMs don't sit. Clocks, it is, to me, it's common sense. And I know it's an outlandish view. I've thought about doing a video on this, but I know I'd get so much backlash and people that call me crazy. But that's my honest view on the quarterback position. I think more so than any other position in the NFL today, I think it is the most, and it's the most important position, don't get me wrong, but it's the most overvalued position on a football team. The market for a quarterback is insane. To give a quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater 15% of your team's cap space is ridiculous. To give a quarterback like Dak Prescott 18% of your team's cap space is ridiculous. The reason that Dak Prescott has been able to perform the way he does, in my opinion, is because he's only taken up about 1% of the team's cap. What do you think is going to happen with a quarterback like that when he takes up 18% of it? I would flip him unless they're an elite. They got to be top of the top. Like, Mahomes, I'm keeping. Aaron Rodgers in his prime, I'm keeping. Name some of the top guys, I'm going to keep them. But if they're fringe top 10, if they're top 8 to 10, I'm not keeping them. I'll do what the Redskins did with Kirk Cousins. And people say that was silly. Well, I don't think it was. It's just that it didn't work out for the Redskins because they haven't found the quarterback to replace him. Maybe I'll franchise him for a year or two, but I'm not making a long-term commitment to a mediocre quarterback, an average to slightly above average quarterback. I'm just not doing it. What's going on, Nelson? Thanks for popping in. What's the drill right now? Well, right now they're just talking to him. I'll tell you the drill in a second. Oh, man, LA Girl, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 super chat, bends the knees. He says, on the Cowboys, I'd rather have 2 years, $30 million of whatever greatness is left in Brady than pay mediocre. I'm LA, man, another great supporter of my channel, and all Giant supporters right now. Right now, they're showing the foot speed of the offensive lineman right now. They're hitting the bags. They're just showing the foot speed, the side-to-side quickness. But like I said, none of the big guys going right now. Becton is not participating in the drills outside of the 40. So we're waiting on the other 3. Hopefully they do some of the other drills. But LA Girl, I'm kind of with you, man. I'd rather pay a guy on a 1 or 2 year deal, whether it's Brady or someone else, than pay someone like Dak Prescott 5 years. That's just me, though. Everybody's different. I just think that the quarterback position is way too overblown at this point in time. Unless they're elite. There's some quarterbacks you have to pay. But there's only 3 or 4 of them, in my opinion. Maybe 5. Even Aaron Rodgers. And I say it all the time. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is the most... since I've been watching football, just strictly talent. And Mahomes could easily pass Aaron Rodgers. But just talent. Aaron Rodgers is arguably the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. I got to see Dan Marino at the tail end of his career. But even Aaron Rodgers, when he got paid, look what happened to the Green Bay Packers. It's very hard for a team to compete when they pay any quarterback that much money. Yeah, Becton's a beast, man. Do the Giants go for Trent Williams? Probably not. He's up there in age. Yeah, the Packers are not good at drafting. Ryan, that's fair to say, man. They're not good at drafting. You could definitely argue that he's overrated. I'm just talking pure talent. Some of the throws the guy could make. But I could certainly argue that the Packers, like Ryan just said, did not surround him with the proper talent to succeed. You can make both arguments. He had no running back. His offensive line was not that good. His defense was not that good for a number of years down the stretch. But yeah, I think he's incredibly talented. But yeah, he's lost in the big spots. Prescott's not a scrub, no, but I don't think he's worth what he's going to get paid. I saw that, Raymond. I saw that, the rumor with the cap space with the new collective bargaining agreement because they're playing an extra game. But the thing is, the cap space goes up for everybody. And that just means players' salaries are going to go up. It's not like you're going to be able to get more great players because of it. What's up, Shamari? Yes. Yeah, I saw you ask me that on my video. A couple of people asked me that. About Hurts you're talking about, right? Yeah, Jalen Hurts. A couple people asked me about that. I just think that the Giants have way too many holes to be worrying about things like that. Now, if he ever fell to the 6th or 7th round and you want to have a Taysom Hill type guy at the quarterback position to add a wrinkle to the offense, go ahead. But I'm not taking a guy like that in the 3rd, the 4th, or even the 5th round. Just my opinion. I'm not doing it. I think we have way too many other holes right now to worry about things like that. On both sides of the football, offensive line, secondary, everything else. I would love to have a player like that. Matter of fact, I always forget the guy's name, the guy out of Syracuse. I was excited when the Giants brought him in because I thought he could add that element to the offense. Oh, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that, LA Gorilla, man, with the $10 super chat. Stand up. He says, in my opinion, if we're staying put at 4, I want Andrew Thomas. If we're trading back, I want Simmons and either CeeDee Lamb or Ruggs. Peyton Manning, by far the most talented quarterback. Peyton Manning, in terms, if I'm not just talking strictly physical talent, if you're talking whole package, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is the smartest quarterback ever. The way he could he was the coach. He was the head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. He was phenomenal. And I often agree with that. That's one thing that Fisk and I agree with when I go on the show. Peyton Manning, to me, and people can call me crazy. I don't care. I'm going to always give you my honest opinion. Peyton Manning, to me, is the best quarterback I've ever seen. That includes Tom Brady. Tom Brady did not have to go against Bill Belichick. Peyton Manning did. That's something that nobody ever factors in. They're both incredible. I would have Peyton Manning, to me, is unbelievable. He's incredible. But thanks for love, man. I really appreciate that. And Johnny Morawski with the $5 super chat, man. Johnny Morawski is the man. I hope everything's going well in Vegas. I hope you're winning your poker matches. And he says, massive Trey Adams fan out of Washington College. Should go in the 2nd round. Maybe 3rd. Will be a great player in years. Come into Vegas. I don't think I'm going to make it to Vegas for the draft. But I do want to go to Vegas very soon regardless. And when I go to Vegas, and I will be there at some point, I definitely will hit you up. And we'll get a couple of drinks together for sure, man. And I hope all is well. I always love going to Vegas. I definitely want to go there at some point very soon. But I don't think I'm going to be able to make it for the draft. I wish I could. But Trey Adams he was not very impressive with the drills so far. I don't know the times outside of the 40, but he is big, he is massive, and everything I've read about the guy, he's very talented. He's a guy that could go in the 2nd round, but because of his injury history, maybe you do get him in the 3rd. And I would not mind taking a flyer on a guy like that in the 3rd round, known as a good pass and run blocker. Oh, Sarah, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate it. Sarah's a huge, and Gil's in the chat, by the way. I always like to shout out Gil. What's up, Gil? And Sarah is a huge Colts fan, and she says, stand up, my Colts are looking at Eric Berry. How old is Eric Berry now? What is he got? He's got to be like 30, he's got to be in his 30s, right? 32, 33. Always a really good player, but he's up there in age. But the Colts are a win-now team. Maybe it makes sense. Steve Smith says, tackles don't run at full speed for 4 yards, much less 4. No, you're right. The 10-yard split is the most important thing to look at. To see their explosion off the line. What's up, Noah? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. He's 31. Yeah, I'm not a bit. I mean, maybe for a team like the Colts on a short-term deal. How many quarterbacks in the 1st round? I'm going 4. Listen, I am a big fan. I said it in my first mock draft. I am a big fan of all 4 quarterbacks, really. I think 4, and it's possible 5, but I'll say 4. Maybe 5 on the back end, but I'll say 4. I like Love a lot. I know Love didn't have a great year this year, but a lot of people say his offensive line was horrible. He tried to force throws. I think Love's got a lot of talent, and I could see him impressing a lot of people. I think 4 for sure. Yeah, cone drill is definitely the most important when it comes to the offensive line. That's everything you read with the offensive line, the cone drill. You want, Sarah, thank you for the love. $2 super chat says, I want Jordan Love on my call. I think a lot of you know what team and he'd be great with the Colts too, because the Colts have that great offensive line. I think the Colts are a perfect fit for any quarterback, really. They have the foundation that you want. You play in a dome. But you know what? You know what team I think would be perfect for Jordan Love if he goes there? And I don't know if they'll do it. I had him mocked there in my first mock draft. If Jordan Love ends up on the New Orleans Saints with Sean Payton, I think that's a great fit. I think that's a fantastic fit. I think he'd have a great career if he ends up on the New Orleans Saints. Oh, man, LA Girl, man, thanks for love, man. I really appreciate that, man. $5 super chat. Benzanese says, what's your thoughts on these absolutely ridiculous Brady to the Giants? LA, man, it is showing up the guns. That's right. It is absolutely absurd, LA Girl, the rumors with Tom Brady and the New York Giants. It's why I haven't talked about it. A lot of people have asked me to do a video on that. It's like, it's nonsense. It's people trying to draw up stories and, get people to watch their articles in the newspaper. Whatever. There's no way it'll ever happen. Tom Brady's not going to be a New York Giant. There's a 0% chance. I get the link because obviously Joe Judge with the Patriots, big market, Tom Brady. I get it. If Tom Brady's going to leave the Patriots, which I will agree at this point, it's looking more and more likely that he will. It will not be for the New York Giants. I would be beyond shocked. The New York Giants fan base would go up in arms if that happened. Not going to happen. He's going to end up with either the Chargers or the Raiders, in my opinion, if he leaves New England. Yeah, I think that I could see that, but not the Giants. The draft is in April. It's in the third week April. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head. Which free agent quarterback would you sign to back up Jones? Yeah, I did a video on that. I don't remember all the names again off the top of my head. I did a video on that. Somebody asked me that earlier. So if you go back and watch my video, because I don't remember every quarterback that's a free agent, but there's a lot of them. Chase Daniels is one that I know I said. Mike Glennon's another. There's a number of them. But I would sign a veteran that knows his role. I wouldn't look for like a Marcus Mariota. I know a lot of people bring him up. I'd want to sign a guy that knows he's the backup, that's here to be a mentor, and step in if he goes down. Something similar to what the Eagles did last year for Carson Wentz. That's the type of backup I'd be looking for. That's just me. John Smith, man, thanks for love, man. I really appreciate that, man. $10 super chat. He says, there should be an incentive scale for quarterbacks to get paid more, like winning a certain amount of playoff games or winning MVP. Every quarterback can't continue to reset the market just because they're next to get paid. They got to do something, John. And thanks again for love, man. I've mentioned this with the running backs too. The running back market is ridiculous. It's not just the quarterback market. The running back market is absurd because the running backs get used and abused their first 2 or 3 years in the league. And then by the time they hit free agency for their second contract, they're not worth anything. Look at Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard's a perfect example. This guy, 2 years ago, was thought to be one of the best young running backs in football. Now I'm talking about bringing him on to be a backup for the New York Giants because he gets used and abused. They need to do something with the contract scale because it's not fair for the running backs, and it's I don't know what, but they need to do something because the running back's biggest value is early on in their career, and it's why you get holdouts at this position. It's why you saw Gordon hold out, you saw Le'Veon Bell hold out because they know that, and they want to get that extension before the 5 years because they know nobody's going to give them a 5-year contract at that point. As far as the quarterbacks go, it's ridiculous. If you're anybody that could throw a football, you get paid $30 million. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. I think the market's absurd at the quarterback position. Flex for the ladies, you know you want to. Oh, man, thank you, Johnny, man, for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that, man. Ben Zaniz, he said, you just made my point on why we shouldn't have drafted Saquon Barkley. Listen, I completely understand the mindset on why people didn't want Saquon Barkley. I love Saquon Barkley. He's one of my favorite Giants of all time. I'm going to get behind him. But I get it. I definitely get the argument for why we should not have taken a running back. And I hope, I didn't get much backlash, but I got a little backlash on, I thought I gave sound reasoning as to why I would extend Saquon Barkley before the 5 years. Because I think at this point we have to at least accept, whether you're a big Saquon Barkley fan or not, I think we have to accept that he's going to be here long term. And we're not trading this guy because you're not going to get what you would want because people realize he's going to get paid. And if you extend him 2 years before the rookie contract's up, by the time that extension is done, the guy's 28, 29. So you hope that you get top tier production when you're paying him top dollar. If you wait for the 5 years, it's going to be a messy situation. He's going to hold out. You're going to probably end up franchise tagging him. It just doesn't make sense. I think you got to extend him sooner than later. I'm not saying this year. If he proves he's healthy after this year, you sign him on that 5-year deal. Then he's a free agent again at 29 or so, and then you sign him to a short-term deal if he's still good. If not, you let him walk. But I think the extension should be done after 3 years and not 5, just like what the Dallas Cowboys did with their running back, with Zeke. Oh, Snakes, man. Thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate that, man. $2 super chat. He says, the Redskins are very serious about Tua Young. I don't see I don't see it, man. I refuse to believe it. You know, and I know it's gonna get Giants fans hyped up and believing that it's possible. The one thing I potentially see with the Redskins, I don't see them taking Tua, but I do see them being willing to trade down for the right price. That I think is possible. They'd have to be blown away. That I think is possible. I can't see the Redskins, and who knows, their owner's crazy, but I can't see the Redskins taking a gamble on a quarterback with the injury history that Tua has when you have an unbelievable talent pass rusher with Chase Young there. You just drafted your quarterback last year. The head coach came on knowing that Haskins was the starting quarterback that you drafted last year. I would be surprised if they drafted Tua. I would not be surprised if they traded down, if they got blown away. I would be surprised if they drafted Tua. Leo, man, I hope we get Chase Young, man. That'd be phenomenal, man. That'd be phenomenal. Entertainer, stay on for the running backs, brother, please. I'll stay on as long as I can. I know I'm going to be hungry, but I love doing this with you guys. I love answering your questions and just talking football in general. It's a lot of fun. Love doing this whenever I can, man. L.A. Gorilla, man, thanks so much for love, man. $10 super chat. Stand up. He says, I think Saquon is worth every penny, especially since we have Daniel Jones, and I know this might sound crazy, but I think he's going to be able to last the way Adrian Peterson has. To be honest with you, L.A. Gorilla, I don't think it sounds crazy. If there is a running back that is capable of being a guy that lasts long, why would it not be Saquon Barkley? Saquon Barkley is built like a brick you-know-what house. And he showed last year, he recovered from an injury that it would take most people another 3 or 4 weeks to even consider jumping on the field again. So I agree with you. I think if there is a running back that is capable of lasting later into his career, it's him. The guy keeps himself in shape. He's a physical specimen. But the Giants got to do a good job here of helping him out. You have to improve the offensive line, and you have to get him a sound backup running back that could take the hits on the short runs. Give him, spell him a little bit. You don't want to waste this guy early on in his career. You need to give him carries, but you want at the same time, you got to use your backup running back a little bit more. And I think they need to improve that position this year. What's going on, Luke? Thanks for popping in the stream. What do you think of a cap limit on each position? Kind of like the NBA does, where you have a max player and cannot exceed a certain percentage of the salary cap. It sounds very complicated, but I think it's a good idea if you could get the right if you could set it up properly. I think it's a good idea, because I think the way it is now, I don't think it's fair. If I was a player, if I was a running back, I'd be pissed off because they get used. I mean, I think they need to set up some kind of structure where positions that don't last as long as others somehow can hit the open market sooner than others. Or like you said, maybe have some kind of salary scale. But quarterbacks, it's just crazy what quarterbacks get paid nowadays. What's up, Moose? Thanks for popping in the stream. What's up, Yvonne, man? Thanks for being here, buddy. Thank you to everybody for being here. If you haven't done so, please hit that thumbs up. What do you think of Mekhi Becton running a 5.1? I'd love to get him. You and me both. You and me both, man. It's impressive. I don't know if I want him at 4. But listen, man, I want one of these offensive linemen. That's for damn sure. Whether we trade down and get him, but yeah, I mean, incredibly impressive. A man of that size to run a 5.11. The guy's 365 pounds. He's 6'8". It's ridiculous. And I had a feeling he was gonna have a really impressive 40 time. And the guy's an athletic specimen. He's nimble. Keep up the videos, dude. Always good to see your perspective on Giants news. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I try. A lot of people say, one common criticism that I get on my channel all the time, Yeah, you're just copying what other people say. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I see, I see a story and then I give my opinion on it. I report the news and then I give my opinion on it. That's what I try to do in every one of my videos. But I appreciate all you guys watching the channel, supporting the channel. Entertainer, will you pounce if we draft a quarterback? Yes, I will pounce if we draft a quarterback. Oh, Danny's dying, man. Thanks for the love, man. I appreciate that, man. $5 super chat bends the knees. He says, if we trade back and get an O-lineman, it fills needs in free agency, and use a second pick to get Jonathan Taylor, would you be mad? Listen, if we address the offensive line, to me, at the end of the day, I've learned, like last year, I definitely overreacted. I'll be the first to say it. And I wish I didn't react the way I did, but it was my honest reaction. And I'm not going to flip out no matter what we do this year. I'll say that right now. But to me, you've got to address the offensive tackle, and you've got to address the pass rush. You have to get an impact player in the defense, and you have to address, whether that's free agency or the draft, they need that. They need both of those. However they want to do it, do it. Whether it's free agency, whether it's early in the draft. But you have to get younger on that offensive line. You have to get talent. And you have to get an impact player for that defense. We'll see how they go about doing it, but that's my mindset, regardless of who we draft. What's going on, Luca? Thanks for popping into the stream, man. I appreciate that, from Germany in the house. What's going on, Johnny boy? What's going on? Rover Sports is in the house. I love Spencer. We got to get Spencer on the channel soon. I keep saying that. I got to get Spencer on the channel soon. Spencer, I'm holding you to it. We got to set up a day. I want to do a Giants YouTuber mock draft. I already got one Giant rebuttal. I got Kid Blue. We'll try to get Bad Dog. I want to get 5-6 Giants YouTubers, do the Zoom thing. We film it. We put it on a channel. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And I got to have Rover on to talk draft. Rover is the man. Rover knows his stuff when it comes to college football. He's a great guy. I've gotten to meet him twice in person. And I would love to have you on, man. Would love to have you on. Rover, let's do it, man. Let's do it. We'll have you on the channel next week. We'll talk draft. They're doing the bench press right now. 30. Look at this guy. Oh, I guess it's a replay. They're showing what they did on the bench. I know Becton, I think, only did 22 or 23, but I think one thing people got to take into account, the guy's arms are gigantic. When you go to the gym and you see these short, stocky guys and they're putting up the bench like it's nothing because their arms are like this big, and then you see tall guys with lanky arms like that, that comes into play. Yeah, Rover's awesome, Richard, man. He's the friggin' man. Gotta have him on. Gotta have him on. Gotta have him on. What's going on, Rogue Dog? Akers, what's going on? Oh, Danny Thomas, thanks for that, man. I really appreciate that, man. $5 super chat. Benzini says, we need to draft Cam Akers from Florida State. What's your take on him? To be completely honest, it's a prospect I have not done a lot of research on, but it's somebody that I will. Matter of fact, I'll put in my notes right now, and I will do some research on him. But I'm gonna do a lot more research on the later round prospects after the combine, and after after the combine. That's what I'm gonna start doing. 7-round mock drafts for the Giants, just Giants specific. I'm not doing 7 rounds. I'm not going over the top like some of these other guys do, but I'm going to do just Giants, and I'll focus more on the later rounds after the combine and everything else. What's going on, John? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. And OGR is the man, dude. And once again, go on over to OGR's channel and subscribe. Go on over to Rover Sports channel and subscribe. Rover's friggin' awesome. I love that guy. He's always been very supportive of me on YouTube ever since I started. And the same for OGR. OGR with the $5 super chat. He says, I am back, my man. Thank you for your videos. Thank you. Videos are long. My favorite crazy little mermaid. You're a maniac. Thanks for popping in, man. I appreciate the love. Bob Hill says, yeah, you overreacted. Yeah, Bob Hill, man. I'll be the first to say I overreacted to Daniel Jones. And, I guess, like, as I've gotten, not that I'm big. I'm still small in the grand scheme of things on YouTube. But I guess, like, as I've gotten bigger on YouTube and more people watch my content, I feel I felt bad about that because I do feel like I embarrassed the fan base a little bit. It was my honest reaction, but I should have given my honest opinion. I didn't like the draft pick, but I should have not have gone as over the top as I did. I know it was funny and entertaining, but I do. If I go back in time, I would have been more. I would have been more calm. I would have been more calm. I would have given you my honest opinion, but I would have been more calm. Oh, Big Blue, man. Thanks for love, man. I really appreciate that, man. $2 super chat. He says, Chris, let's be honest. Rover is kind of a creep. No, man. Rover's the man, dude. Rover's the man. Big Blue in the PA is a great subscriber of mine. But he does, he does, once in a while he'll drop a super chat about Cop Pizzle. And now he's dropping one about Rover. Rover's awesome, man. What's the point of living if you can't be embarrassed about the past? No, you're right, man. You're right. Hindsight's always Rogue Dog says, "How's the combine look at Tainer?" I mean, right now in terms of the big prospect who we have our eyes on, Mekhi Becton is the headliner so far. I'm waiting on the other three guys to run their 40s, and hopefully they do some of the other drills. Becton ran a 5.11, which is awesome for a man of his size. And there goes the green screen. And I think his 10-yard split was 1.71, if I'm not mistaken. And they compared him to Brown, an offensive lineman who was a similar size. He ran like a 5.26 or 5.29, whatever it was. So it was an impressive 40 time. No, Thomas hasn't gone. He's going to be in the second group. What quarterback this year would you take if the Giants draft one? Name a quarterback and in what round? Kevin Cronin, none. The Giants better not take a quarterback, period. Unless it's like the 6th or 7th round, but none of these guys. You drafted your quarterback last year. I think it's funny that people are even bringing this up as a possibility that the Giants could take a quarterback. There's no way they're going to take a quarterback. No way. I reacted the same way, Chris, when my girl told me she was. That's how you reacted when your girl told you she wants a baby? New York for life, man. CeeDee Lamb, listen, man, CeeDee Lamb was really impressive. I still don't want to take a wide receiver that early. But CeeDee Lamb, yeah, I mean, that catch last night was ridiculous. When you got to watch it in slow motion on the replay. Chris, when we drafted Daniel Jones, I went pale really quick. I think we all did. I think, well, not all. Rover was Gucci. I don't know if Rover's still here. People said my draft reaction was funny. I thought Rover's draft reaction was the funniest. We're all Gucci, baby. We're all Gucci. But I think most Giant fans may not have been as vocal as me and as crazy as me. But I think most Giants fans, if they're being completely honest with themselves on draft night, were not happy. Their initial reaction. I think if they're being completely honest. Tristan Wirfs has a 36-inch. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Is that true, Big Blue? I saw the video. He was having a son. Maybe I missed that part. $2 super chat from Big Blue in the PA. He says, thoughts on Pizzle naming his son Eli? Is that true? I mean, that's cool, I guess. I know he's a diehard Eli fan, like me, but he's even more of a diehard Eli fan than I am. I wouldn't be shocked if he did that. I wouldn't be shocked if he did that. Okay. Wouldn't be shocked. Who's my favorite tackle in the class right now? Andrew Thomas is still my favorite right now today. He plays the left tackle. He's experienced. Oh, man, thank you so much, Danny Dime, for the $5 super chat, man. I really appreciate that, man. He says, my friends told me I was nuts. I wanted and knew we were going to get Jones. Hey, man, listen, man, you look smarter than you did on draft night. That's for damn sure. And hopefully he continues to make my reaction look stupid. He continues to make 95% of Giants fans look stupid. And we'll see. You know, I definitely have more faith in him today than I did last year going into the season. That's for sure. And he proved a lot of people wrong in his rookie year. He needs to continue to do that. But yeah, I mean, he looked really good. Now, to be fair, I don't think Rover's still here, but if he is, I remember Rover and me having a conversation before the draft, like 2 or 3 weeks before the draft, And I remember we both watched film. We were talking about it on the phone. We both watched film on Daniel Jones. And I remember I was very happy with Daniel Jones. I said Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. I like a lot of things I'm seeing. I just didn't want him at 6. 17, I would have been good with it. There's 2 reasons why I reacted the way I did on draft night. 1, I was infatuated with Josh Allen. 2, I thought on draft night. Now, it's easy to say after the fact, but in the moment, I thought Daniel Jones would have been there at 17. So that's why I reacted the way I did. Eli Manning is your GOAT, the guy who threw 15-plus interceptions for 8 seasons and only had 1 season of a completion above 65%, who won 2 Super Bowls because he had a great... See, that's what I always love. You know, you get a lot of these people who come into the stream. I love it. These statistical people. I love it. Listen, Eli Manning is my GOAT. He won me 2 Super Bowls. He won 2 Super Bowl MVPs. I don't care what stats you throw at me. Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls. He did it in the toughest media market. He played in the worst stadium in terms of windy conditions in football for the first half of his career for the Meadowlands. There's a reason I say it all the time, why New York quarterbacks historically don't have shiny stats. They don't play in a dome. They don't play in the sunny California. I don't care about stats, okay? You know what stat I care about? Super Bowls. And to say he was carried by a defense, 2008, you can make that argument. I made a video on this. 2011 regular season. Do me a favor before you make statements like that. When people say he had the best supporting cast, the Giants ranked 32nd in the league in running offense in 2011. Their defense ranked 29th or 28th. They had a horrible regular season defense, a lot of it due to injuries, and they had a horrible running game in the regular season. Eli Manning carried that team. They had a lot of injuries. Eli Manning for that year, was elite. So to say he was carried by a defense in 2011 is ridiculous. And you honestly don't know what you're talking about. So that's it, period, end of story. Danny Dime, thank you so much, man, for the $5 super chat. Ben Zaniz, he says, stats are a lazy way to judge a player. You're right. You can't judge listen, let's look at the splits of, and I'm not knocking Drew Brees. Drew Brees is phenomenal. But this is why you can't judge a quarterback strictly off of stats. I don't think anybody in this chat would disagree that first off, the fact that he played with Sean Payton helps his stats. But secondly, the fact he plays in a dome helps his stats. And I'm not bashing Drew Brees. Drew Brees is one of the top 10 quarterbacks who ever lived. But when you get a chance, look at Drew Brees' splits. Tell me what his quarterback rating is inside the dome. Tell me what his quarterback is outdoors. His quarterback rating outdoors is 92. Not to say that's bad. It's good. But his quarterback rating in the dome is like 106. You can't go strictly off of stats. There's a lot of factors that come into play. Not to mention Eli Manning's offensive line was horrific the second half of his career. I'm not comparing the two. I'm not saying Eli Manning's Drew Brees. I'm just using it as an example. But you can't go strictly off of stats. Why has Andrew Thomas's stock fallen? The reason Andrew Thomas's stock has fallen, in my opinion, out of boredom, and I think people have watched more tape on him, and I think because he was the consensus number 1 offensive lineman going into the draft, I think that people have looked for flaws in his game. I honestly think that's the reason, and I think if people are looking for reasons to like some of the other prospects, and I think people have probably done more film analysis on people like Becton, on people like Wirfs, on people like Wills, and they've been more impressed with him than they probably initially thought. I don't think it has much to do with Andrew Thomas specifically. Oh, thank you so much, Danny Thomas, for the $5 super chat. He says, I think we need to trade our pick to the Raiders for the 12 and 19 and a third-round pick in this year's draft. That is the perfect type of trade if we're going to trade down. I don't know if I want to trade that far. It's going to depend on what prospects we think are it's all going to depend on Dave Gettleman's draft board and whether or not he thinks the players that we want are going to be there at 12 and 19. But that's the type of trade if we're trading with the Raiders that I would expect. 12, 19, and a third in this year's draft or 12, 19, and a future second. I think that's what you're looking at. Thank you so much, Big Blue in the P. He says, please, no O-lineman unless we trade back. Yeah. He says, Chris, I'm embarrassed for you that you said you overreacted. That's bull. I still wish we had Josh Allen and got Rosen or Oh no, I'm not saying I overreacted in the sense that I still believe I wanted to take Josh Allen clocks. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying on YouTube, I probably could have been a little bit more calmer. I'm not saying that I'm with you. I think Josh Allen, to me, was the guy they should have taken. And I hope that Daniel Jones continues to prove me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I overreacted in that sense. I'm saying my reaction might have been a little insane and over the top, and it might have embarrassed some Giants fans. That's what I'm saying. Two consecutive second-round picks, grab a cornerback, trade 37 down, again, grab extra picks, including an early third. Two consecutive second-round picks, grab a cornerback, trade. Christopher Sound, are you talking about trading with the Raiders? Year before we passed on Bradley Chubb, who's better than Allen? Well, we could have traded down. We could have traded down that year and gotten Bradley Chubb. We definitely could have traded down and gotten Bradley Chubb. Big Blue in the PA. Oh, we got the second. Finally, we got the second set of offensive linemen about to run. Big Blue in the PA. Thank you so much for love, man. He says, love Barkley, but it was the wrong pick. I'm sorry. Listen, man. Barkley's my favorite player in football, but I got to be unbiased and fair. And I love Barkley. I want Barkley to be here for life. But I have to at least acknowledge that there's sound reasoning, for people that think we should have traded down. I understand it. I'm not blind. I recognize it. I get it, but he's here, and I think he's going to be here for the foreseeable future. So at this point, there's no point in living in the past, and build the team around him. You invested a second-round pick, build the team around him, improve that offensive line, and let Daniel Jones continue to prosper. But it's a valid argument. I got to be fair. I can't be blind to the fact that, yeah, we could have traded down and gotten Bradley Chubb or Quentin Nelson and gotten 3 second-round picks like the Colts did. You could argue that would have been the better route. You could definitely argue that. What's going on, Chris Leone? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Billy says, your reaction to the Jones pick was similar to mine when my wife told me I was going to be a father for the third time. Yeah. Baker, Darnold, Allen, Haskins, Murray. I'd take Jones over all of them, so I don't know. Right choice of mine. Listen, if he keeps doing what he's doing, if Daniel Jones goes out there and has another, gets even better, here's the thing. And I'm not ready to commit yet. I'm ready to say that I think Daniel Jones could be a franchise quarterback. Here's the thing I'll say. If Daniel Jones turns out to be a franchise quarterback, and by franchise quarterback, I mean top 10 quarterback in the league, you can't say it was a bad pick. Quarterback's the most important position on a football team. I don't care. I as much as I like Josh Allen, I don't think Josh Allen's going to be Lawrence Taylor. You can't say if he turns out to be that good, which a lot of people think he could. I'm not going to say he can or can't yet. I think he's definitely capable of doing it. You can't say it was the wrong pick. So it's going to come down to if he turns out to be a franchise quarterback, it was the right pick. Chris, would you rather us have drafted Josh Allen last year and grabbed Tua this year? Well, that's the other argument that you could make. I think Tua is a supremely talented quarterback, but the guy's got injury problems, man. I worry about his injury problems. I don't know how he's going to hold up in the NFL long term. He's already had 2 injuries I don't know. Austin Jackson about to run, by the way. We got Austin Jackson, then we got Josh Jones, both potential second-round picks for the New York Giants. We'll see how Jackson does out of USC, measuring in at 6 foot, almost 6'5", 322. So if we go defense in the first round, these 2 players are players that you could be looking at in the second. And Austin Jackson runs a pretty impressive 40 time, 5.07. 322 pounds. That's a good 40 time for Austin Jackson, helping his draft stock out probably a little bit there out of USC. Watch Doctor, man. Thanks so much for the love, man. $2 super chat. You can forget about it. He says, Jedrick Wills is our pick. Book it. We'll see, man. I had a mock to the Giants in my first mock. It's definitely possible. No, I don't, Ben. To be honest with you, I don't think the Redskins will take a quarterback. Chris, do you want the outside linebacker? What outside linebacker? In general, yeah, we could use an outside linebacker. Make your prediction for Thomas. I'll go 5.16. Why not? 5.16. I think we should trade with Jacksonville, get 9, 20, and a future second or a third this year. That would be the similar price to the Raiders. Yeah, I'd be looking for an additional pick. You might not get it. Maybe you get a third or a fourth because 9's not as far as 12, but I'd be looking for something similar. Josh Jones just ran a 5.28. So there's another guy that's a potential, second, third round prospect out of Houston. But Jackson had a nice run there. Redskins will be foolish if they take it. Redskins ain't taking a quarterback. They're not taking a quarterback. The 3-cone drill is what's most important. 3-cone drill and the 10-second split. And Becton had the 6th best 10-second split. He ran a 1.77 in the 10-yard split, rather. Not 10-second split, 10-yard split. All these top 10 picks, and we're still trash. Well, it takes time, man, when you're rebuilding. OGR with the $5 super chat. He says, bro, every year I watch these tanks for men run. They get faster. It's crazy. They're running, for men this size, for a man the size of Becton to be able to run that fast is ridiculous. The guy's almost 400 pounds. It's like a sumo wrestler that ran almost a 5 flat 40 time. Steve Henry is just a troll at this point. He's just a Steelers fan that's here to troll, and I guess he's having fun with it, and good for him. And have fun. Could you see the Redskins taking Thomas? Probably not. You talking about Andrew Thomas? Probably not. No. I think that they're going to go Chase Young. I'd be surprised if they don't. They're either trading down or taking Chase Young. What's the difference between the Redskins if they take a quarterback and what the Cardinals did last year? Well, here's the difference. Here's the difference, in my opinion. Here's the difference. And I said it in the Daniel Jones video. Josh Rosen, first off, was awful in his rookie year. Now, you could attribute a lot of that to the offensive line. I don't think Josh Rosen was given a fair shake. Haskins showed some promise towards the end of the year. But even more importantly, the reason that the Cardinals made that move was because they brought in Kingsbury. Kingsbury runs an air raid offense. Kingsbury, that's it's a system. Kingsbury viewed Kyler Murray as the perfect guy to fit his system. Ron Rivera is not a system guy. I don't see it. I don't see it. After the draft of free agency, if Jones, Barkley, and Ingram stays healthy, do you think the Giants will have a chance to make the playoffs? I think it's the NFL, man. And we still haven't gotten to the high-profile offensive linemen. They're going to commercial now. It's the NFL, man. You could always make the playoffs. I'm not predicting it, but anything could happen, man. It's a crazy league. The Giants have some talent. We'll see what they do in free agency. We'll see what they do in the draft. But I'm not going to set the expectations too high. I will tell you it's possible. Anything's possible. Yeah, Super. Well, that's true, too. You know the Giants wouldn't do that either, probably. I can't say that. We did it with our kicker or punter or whatever his name was. What team trades for Rosen now? Poor guy. Rosen is in a really tough spot right now. I thought the Colts could have made sense. He's in a really tough spot right now. What do you think we're doing in free agency? That's the question of the day. And somebody asked me that yesterday. I think we're going to add one big piece, maybe. And I don't know. I don't know if it'll be a pass rusher. I don't know if it'll be Littleton. I don't know if it'll be Conklin. I don't think we're going to add more than one huge piece. And then I think we're going to look for guys on 2- and 3-year deals. Guys like McCourty, guys like Van Noy, guys like Prince Amukamura, people like that. I think they're going to look for 2- and 3-year deals, cost-effective contracts, guys that aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg. But I do think they're going to try to make one big impact signing. That's my prediction. I don't work for the Giants. But that's my prediction. Something like that. It's unfair to judge Haskins off of last year. Gruden didn't want him. He wanted Jones. With that, yeah, Nicky, that and he wasn't ready. The guy played 13 games in college. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. Dream Giants draft scenario would be 1 Burrow, 2 or 3 Hurt. Of course. Any scenario, I don't care who goes in the top 3, any scenario where Chase Young's there at 4 is a dream scenario. In my opinion. 40 times or a waste. How many Hall of Famers do you know from their 40 times? It depends on the position. I think there's certain positions where 40 times are somewhat valuable. But, of course, film, at the end of the day, film is most important. Offensive lineman, the 3-cone drill is the most important thing. But, yeah, I mean, I think there's some value to it when it comes to the wide receiver position, the running back position. I think it's more for entertainment purposes in terms of the offensive line. You know, just to see men of this size be able to run at that speed. Are the Redskins too shitty of an organization to pass on Chase Young? Alex, the only way they're passing on Chase Young, I've said this, the only way I think it's even possible is if they trade down. I don't think they're going to draft a player there. They'd have to trade down. Thomas ain't running a 4.54. He ain't running a 4.54. I remember Deion Sanders' 40 time. What was his time? Bill Belichick's answer? Fast enough. Rosen is going to be traded to whatever team drafts Lawrence next year. We'll see. No, you're right. A lot of teams overvalue the 40 time. The Raiders did it with Darius Hayward-Bay. Ross is a prime example. You're right. What time do the running backs run? It depends on the running back. Barkley, I can't remember Barkley's exact time. What was it about? I think it was right around 4.4. I can't remember the exact time. It was in the 4.3s maybe, right around 4.4. Maybe I'm wrong. Running back, I mean, if you're in the low 4.4s, the high 4.3s, that's really good. Yeah, it was 4.4, yeah. Hello, I'm back. There you go. There's your kiss, man. There's your kiss. Dolphins could get the 2 if they want, but it would be expensive as hell. Yeah, it's probably going to cost them their first, at least the 5th pick and the 18th pick and a second, if not all first, all of their first. And I honestly don't see it happening. Oh, what time are they airing the running backs? I don't know. I mean, after all the offensive linemen go through their drills, I'm guessing probably around 7. I think the offensive linemen will probably go to about 7, and then you'll probably see the running backs after that. I thought Slayton ran a 4.39, Patrick. Am I wrong on that? I thought Darius Slayton ran a 4.39. There's Cesar Ruiz out of Michigan, another second-round potential prospect, ran a 5.08. And we're about to see Andrew Thomas, and we're about to see Wills and Wirfs. So let's see what they do. Thomas, Wills, and Wirfs. We'll see what they do in their 10-yard split in the 40. What's going on, Estavo, all the way from Brazil in the house? Thanks for popping in, man. Oh, thank you, so Mike Nixon, man. Thanks for the love, man. I just want to see Andrew Thomas about to run, and then I'll read that, man. Just want to see what he does, and then the other two big guys. He is on double deck. So Mike Nixon with a $5 super chat. He says, "I need you to sing 'Ring My Bell' for me. You haven't done it in a while, and I miss it." All right, Mike Nixon, just for you. I got no voice right now because I've live streamed 2 days in a row, but here we go. Will you ring my bell? Ring my bell. And Alex Taylor about to run Andrew Thomas on deck. And then we got Jedrick Wills and about 4 guys. It was unofficial 4. Okay. All right. Oh, I don't know why. I thought it was 4.39. I guess it was 4.41. I don't know why I thought it was 4.39. The Mook Man says vocals. The big boy's ready to dance. It's weird seeing Thomas mocked as the 21st player. No way the tackles fall that far. You never know, Ryan. Like I said, last year there was a number of tackles that fell a lot further than anybody would have expected. But I'm with you. I doubt it. What's going on, Doc Steele? Thanks for popping in, man. I think the Giants would be good regardless on the offense or the defensive side of the ball unless we get... No, we're not taking a punter or a kicker. only if Sonora was the GM. I'll get to that 1 second, James Jeffries. Thank you for the love, man. Alex Taylor about to... I'll get it now. Andrew Thomas on deck. $5 super chat. Bends the knees. He says, remember when we took Cedric Jones? We literally drafted a blind edge rusher and was shocked we couldn't find the quarterback. By the way, your content is awesome. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Cedric Jones, what was that, 96? 95, 96? That is arguably the biggest bust in at least since I've been watching the Giants. A lot of people don't remember that. I think he was the fifth, right? I think he was the fifth overall pick. That was a horrible pick. It was a horrible pick. And here's Andrew Thomas. Let's see what his 10-second split is and his 40-second split. Andrew Thomas runs a 5.22. So there you go. Not quite as fast as Becton, but still, pretty fast for a man his size. Runs a 5.22. Waiting on the 10-yard split. But a 5.22. Yeah, James Jeffries, that's a great point. That's a great point. What's anything sub 5 is really fast, Patrick, for an offensive lineman. I would say in the 5.2s is about average. Anything in sub 5 is really fast. But, like we said with Becton, a guy his size, 5.11 is ridiculous. Joseph Santiago, I completely agree with you, man. Defensive tackles are very important. You can make it the best pass rusher in football is a defensive tackle. It's just as important to flush out the pocket as it is to get pressure around the edge. Because that forces the quarterback to go into those to the edge rushers when you collapse the pocket with the interior defensive line. It's just as important. They don't put up the sexy numbers. They don't get credit for it, but yeah, an interior defensive lineman is very important. I just think right now we've invested so much in it. I don't see the reasoning behind drafting Derek Brown. Unless you don't bring back Leonard Williams, then I suppose you have reasoning. But yeah. Jeff Okudah or Simmons if both available. I'm leaning Jeff Okudah right now, but I like both of them. Here's Darrell Williams. And then we're going to get to see Jedrick Wills and Tristan Wirfs. Wirfs breaks broad jump and vertical. I was right, G-Cell said. Is that did they do that already, G-Cell? They didn't show it if they did. Did they do that already? They're showing the 10-second split. Becton still tied for 8th. Charles out of LSU is number 1 at 1.73. Becton was 1.77. Here's Wills, who the Giants, he looks pretty fast. He's moving. Jedrick Wills, 5.09 out of Alabama. We'll see what his 10-yard split was. That's pretty fast. Jedrick Wills, 5.09. Yeah, he was chugging like a Ferrari tank, man. This draft is stacked at the wide receiver position and and I think there's a good amount of tackles early on, but the wide receiver position is really stacked. What's up there, Andrew Christopher? Okay, I didn't know. I didn't see it, OGR. The 10-yard split was bad? What was the 10-yard split for Wills? You could tell. I didn't know the time, but you could tell from the start that Wills was fast. What's up, Derek Martin? Thanks for popping in, man. Did you change my mind on Okuda? I mean, I've been pretty consistent with Okuda from the start. I would not be upset at all if we took Okuda. I think we would need to address the offensive line in free agency if we did it. But Okuda's really good. I think if he's there at 4, he's probably going to be the best player on the board. Because I don't think Chase Young is going to be there. What's up there, Mooshland? Stand up. Here's Isaiah Wilson out of Georgia. And then we're going to get to see Tristan Wirfs. Okuda and an emerging Baker. Yeah, Jeffrey, man, that would be a nice secondary. That's for sure, man. If Baker can turn into be a good cornerback. I don't know if it'll be easy to know, Mike, but we'll have a much better idea of what they're going to do. I agree with that in terms of position. Here's Tristan Wirfs, the former standout wrestler. He looks pretty fast, too. Wow. Whoa. Tristan Wirfs is the number 1 offensive lineman, and he ran a good 10-yard split. He ran a 4.86 with a 1.6. I think he had the highest 10-yard split and the highest 40-yard dash. 4.86 with a 1.69 10-yard split. Wow. 4.86. Oh, and that was a guy that the Giants are potentially interested in. He ran a lot faster than Haskins. Haskins ran 5.05. He ran 4.86. Tristan Wirfs, man. Wow. That guy's fast. Now, a lot of people say he's more of a guard than a tackle. He looked athletic there, though. Yeah, he's got the wrestling background, BS. He's the type of guy that Dave Gettman would definitely be interested in. Sucks that apparently he can't play tackle. I got to watch tape to see. Yeah, some people say he can play right tackle, but he's not going to be a left tackle. The OT from, he ran a 5.11, Raekwon, yeah. Which is really impressive as well for a man of his size. Joseph Santiago, I think it could show you the burst off the line of scrimmage. It could also show you his ability in terms of athleticism to pull. But the 3-cone drill is the most important thing. It's still impressive to see a man of that size do that, though. He's over 300 pounds. He's over 300 pounds. Giants have to choose between Thomas Becton and Wills for left tackle at pick 4. If they trade down, we'll consider Wirfs. Probably. We'll see. We'll see. I still think they're gonna trade down. Tape review on the O-line, please. That is something I'm gonna add to my channel this season, and I'll probably do it. We'll see. I'll probably do a tape review of every player that we draft. I don't know if I'm gonna do it before the draft because that takes a lot of time, and I want to make sure it comes out good. But I'm definitely going to add that to my channel this year after Giant games every week. That's something that I would definitely want to add. I'm going to get the game film that I see Rover do it all the time, and I want to do that after every game. Break down Daniel Jones, break down the defense, stuff like that. So that's something I'm definitely adding to the channel this year for sure every week, and I'll probably do it for each player that we draft. Yeah, Lombardi does a great job. I was talking about him yesterday. Lombardi does a great job with that. "21 years old, 6'5", 322. I can see why we are looking at him." Yeah, 4.86. That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. Entertain a serious question. What O-line would Playboy signed to model for them in the 22. Oh, God, that's got to be Becton. It's got to be Becton. Oh, Kyle, man, thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate that. Kyle Petrano, great subscriber of mine. $2 super chat. He says, "Hey, miss you, man. So glad to see you. Stand up, New York Giant fans." Thank you for being here, Kyle. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna be live a lot more leading up into the draft and free agency, with Q&As and with call-in shows. Probably the week before free agency, I said last, which is in, I think, 2 weeks, I'm going to do one, alternate. Probably like on a Monday or a Tuesday, I'll do a call-in, and like a Friday or Saturday, I'll do a Q&A. And I'll do it twice a week. I'll go live for Giants. I'm kind of waiting until there's more stuff to talk about. Once free agency's right around the corner, we're gonna have more rumors. We're gonna have, we're gonna know the exact cap space. We're gonna know if they franchise tag Leonard Williams, and we're gonna know what the Giants are looking for. So that, probably in about 2 weeks, I'm gonna go live twice a week. By the 40th time is just a tool for scouting in the. Yeah, no, it's not. No, Big Daddy, it's not the be all end all at all. At the end of the day, with offensive linemen, the most important thing to look at is film. It's film, and how they perform on the field. The everything that everybody says, the 3-cone drill is the, in terms of the test at the combine, is the best one to go by. Breaking news: Eagles have signed all the available wide receivers to max con. I believe that. I believe that. Oh, thank you so much, Moojdat, with the $2 super chat. It says, great content, brother. Keep it up. Let's go, G-Men. I appreciate that. Thank you for being a great supporter of the channel. And we're going to get to see these guys run again. To me, it's, like I said, it's more entertaining to get to watch guys run this fast at this size. It's impressive. I know you made a video, but in your opinion, what's the best outcome for Williams? What do you, in terms of if we keep him? I personally think the best outcome for Williams, if we keep him, is to get him on a cost-effective deal. Not the franchise tag. 4 years, $42 million, something like that. That's best outcome. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you're either going to have to franchise tag him, or you're going to have to give him $13, $14 million a year. That's what I think will happen, unless they let him walk, which I won't rule out. Entertainer wants Wirfs or bet. I tell you, man, Wirfs impressed me on that run. That's for sure. I still like Andrew Thomas. He's a proven left tackle, but who doesn't love watching a bunch of overweight men in skin tight? Exactly, Kyle. You can't go wrong. Oh, Moojdat, you always get trolls, but a lot of them are fun trolls. They're great subscribers of mine, and occasionally you get trolls that are just trolls. I get trolls on my channel all the time. People saying negative things on my videos. You just learn to live with it on YouTube, You have a lot more people like yourself and like everybody in this stream that supports you than the trolls. They far outweigh the trolls. Word on the street: Redskins went to Stafford once out. Yes, yeah, I heard about it. I don't buy that anybody's going to take on Stafford's contract. I've been surprised before though. I don't know. What's going on, T-Ball? Thanks for popping in, man. Chris, don't be a fan answering this question. Would we have been further into rebuild taking Quentin Nelson and Josh Allen over Barkley and Jones? You could argue yes and no, because the argument would still be we don't have our quarterback. So you could, because now we already have the quarterback, so you could try to find those pieces in this draft rather than having to take a quarterback. If we didn't have Daniel Jones, you got to take a quarterback in this year's draft. You got to take Tua, you got, whoever, Herbert. And now because we have our quarterback, we can draft an offensive lineman. So you go either way, man. At the end of the day, this draft is important. They got to fill those holes. Record prediction, get back to me after the draft and free agency. But right now, I'll say 6-10 or 7-9. Do I think Wirfs can play center? No. I think he's either going to be a guard or a right tackle. No, I don't think Washington takes two. I've been asked that all day. I don't think Washington takes two. I think Washington either stays put, takes Chase Young, or they trade out of the pick, but they got to be blown away to do it. I love putting on my Gettleman cap. Put on your Gettleman cap. And would you cut or trade any other players to increase cap? Yes. There's two obvious ones that I would cut. And that's the two guys I've talked about, Red Ellison and Antoine Bethea. And then they could also cut, I think Pulley. I don't think I would cut him. He doesn't carry a dead cap hit, but I think you need depth on the offensive line. And he's still fairly affordable at 2.75, but you could cut him. But I would definitely cut Bethea and Ellison. And word on the street is that Ellison may retire, so we wouldn't have to cut him. He's still going to take that $2 million hit, though. Yeah, no, I know, Eric. $200 million. Entertainer, who was the biggest player besides LT that you saw play for the Giants? It's got to be Eli Manning. He's a quarterback for both Super Bowl. I mean, you could argue Strahan or Eli Manning. And I got to see LT at the tail end of his career. Cesar Ruiz with another impressive run there. 5.13 for the center prospect with a 1.78 10-yard split. Ellison can block. First off, he's probably going to retire from the sounds of it because he had the concussion problem. He can block, but so could Caden Smith, and you're paying Caden Smith nothing. So I just don't think I don't think it makes sense to pay him that much money. He's a good player. Yeah, Tyler Beaters is still hurt, I think, BS. Oh, thank you, Misleading Story, for the love, man. I really appreciate that, man. Biggest in size? I'd have to think about that. Misleading Story, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, hey, Chris, unfortunately, just got tuned in. Did I miss anything major? Anyone stand out for good or bad reasons? Well, Mekhi Becton only ran the 40. He didn't do the any of the other drills. He had a really impressive time. He ran 5.11, which is ridiculous for a man his size, and his 10-yard split was, I think, in the top 7 or 8. And Wirfs just killed it. Wirfs right now is the fastest 40 time, and I believe 10-yard split for any offensive lineman in the combine. Of course, Wirfs was the guy we're rumored to potentially be interested in. He ran a 4.86 with a 1.69 10-yard split. Incredibly impressive for an offensive lineman. Oh, then I missed it, King. My mistake then. I must have missed him if he did the first drill. The biggest giant, I mean, there's been a lot of big giants. I mean, it'd have to be an offensive lineman more than likely. Damon Snacks Harrison was pretty big, but no, it's got to be an offensive lineman. There's been a lot of big giants. I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question. Costanza was up there in age. I don't see the Colts letting him go. No, he doesn't. I looked that up yesterday specific, and I was disappointed that we do not. Yeah, Barry Cofield was big. I was disappointed that we do not get we still take the $2 million hit, regardless if we cut him or he retires. We're still taking the hit, unfortunately. Obviously, we would like to get that extra $2 million. Do you think we should get Gross Matos in the second round? I like Gross Matos if he's there in the second round. He's definitely a potential guy. He's being mocked in the back end of the first, early second. Okwara is another guy that we haven't talked about a lot. I did a video on him. He's a little bit underdeveloped. He's been disappointing in terms of sack numbers, but he's a supreme athlete. He's a guy with a lot of upside. That's another guy you want to keep an eye on. That's an edge rusher that we could take in the second round out of Notre Dame. Yeah, I mean, those two are definite possibilities in the second round. I almost thought Mekhi Becton was on YouTube, but I realized, yeah, it's me, Bavith. I get that all the time. We talked about that yesterday. People think I'm Mekhi Becton wherever I go. Becton did a drill to see how fluid his hips were, nothing time-wise, like 3-cone, for example. Okay, Mook, man, I didn't see that. Okay. We met with Christian Fulton today. Christian Fulton, that's another guy we could have an eye on, the cornerback. I had him mocked in the back end of the first round. We could take a corner in the second. Wouldn't shock me, especially if we trade down and we get an extra second-round pick. Delpit could very well be there at 36. Clocks. Yeah. What team? Here's what I'll say, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I would have thought for sure if you would have asked me a month ago that Brady's going to stay with New England, and he still very well may. They might be waiting for the collective bargaining agreement, but I'm at least thinking there's a 50% chance he's going to leave at this point. And it's either, I think it's one of two teams. I think it's going to be the Raiders or the Chargers is where he ends up. I think the Colts could be a really good fit, but I don't see him going there. I'll say the Raiders or the Chargers for Brady if he leaves New England. And here's Andrew Thomas, second time around. Andrew Thomas. He ran about the same time, 5.23. He ran 5.22 the first time. Don't know his 10-yard split. Yeah, Bavith, I think it's definitely a smokescreen. I don't think he's going to the Redskins. Yeah, Russ, there's a number of centers we could take in the second round. That was the guy they brought in for an interview, right, Russ? I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but that's the guy they brought in for an interview. Everything I've seen from him, a lot of people say he's a 3rd to 4th round prospect. I don't think we take him in the second. There's a number of centers we could take in the second. Ruiz is one of them. Cushenberry's another one, and Biadish from Wisconsin. I think if you're looking at him, you're probably looking more like the 3rd or the 4th round, the back end of the 3rd with our comp pick or the 4th round. Harley, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. $5 super chat. Bends the knees says, keep up the great work, man. G-Men, stand up. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Harley. I really appreciate that. Thank you for popping in the stream. Yeah, just hanging out. We're going to be doing a lot more of these as free agency gets closer, as the draft gets closer. I just have fun, man. Just talking football with you guys, talking Giants with you guys. It's a lot of fun. Talking just broad football. I know this is kind of boring to watch, but it's still cool. It's for, like, football junkies. It's like something to watch, in the offseason. So we get to, see these prospects, and their physical abilities. What's up there, sports influencer? And we're waiting. Jedrick Wills is going to run next, and then Tristan Wirfs. I like it. I know some people may view it as boring. I like it. You get to see these guys, do the drills. D-Hop or Michael Thomas? D-Hop for me, but they're both fantastic. What would you do if Brady goes to the Cowboys? No way. There's no way. Brady. I'd be happy, to be honest with you. I think it's a bad signing. I think Brady showed last year that he's on his last legs. He's 42, 43 years old. I'd be happy. I think it'd be a bad signing by the Cowboys. Here's Jedrick Wills. Wills ran a 5.09 his first time around, and now 5.05 with a 1.81 10-yard. So the 10-yard split's not overly impressive. His 10-yard split is actually worse than Becton's. But once he got the momentum going, he ran a 5.05, which is impressive. Giants need to trade down and acquire an extra second. I agree. I would love to do that. Whether it's the Chargers second or I agree with you. Vernon Hargreaves is interesting. That's a guy we passed up on that a lot of New York Giants fans liked. He's been underwhelming. They released him, I think, right? Maybe on a cheap deal, prove it deal. Maybe. What wide receiver do you want this year? I love Claypool. I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I think he helped his stock too much yesterday. I don't think we're going to get him. Gandy Golden is definitely a possibility. I don't think Claypool is going to go to the 4th round, which is where I think Gettleman's going to be looking to take a receiver. I think Claypool is going to go 2nd or 3rd round now. I don't think the Giants will have an opportunity to take him. But Gandy Golden, we might have a shot. Along with a couple other guys. The guy from, what's his name? It's escaped me right now. There's a couple of receivers, but there's one guy in particular I'm trying to, Pittman, right? Pittman, Gandy Golden. I think those are the types of receivers we're looking at in the 4th round, potentially. And Tristan Wirfs is on deck. Trey Waynes could be an interesting signing, yeah. Pittman's probably going to go earlier. We'll see how he does. Well, actually, I don't even know how he did yesterday. Maybe Clocks. Maybe. It's possible. I think Brady's over the hill. The guy's 42, 43 years old. Listen, I like Caden Smith a lot. That's why I've talked about potentially trading Evan Ingram. And here's Tristan Wirfs again. Tristan Wirfs almost matched his first time. He ran the two best times. He ran a 4.86 and a 4.88. He had another impressive 10-yard split of 1.72. His first 10-yard split was 1.69. So Tristan Wirfs definitely impressed people with his athleticism. That's for sure. Wow. Crazy, man. They're showing his 40 time. He ran a better 40 time than Jameis Winston, and he was almost on par with, imagine this. He almost ran the same 40. You're talking about an offensive lineman. He almost ran the same 40 time as Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes ran a 4.8. That's insane. That's insane. Releasing Solder 100% doesn't make sense this year. We're not. It's too much of a dead cap hit. We're not releasing him. Chris, breaking rumor. Ian Rappaport apparently reported that the Giants could be interested in trading Nate Solder. I'll take a look into that after that, but that doesn't surprise me. I mean, the Giants should be interested in trading Nate Solder. The question is anybody interested in acquiring him? I have no doubts that the Giants will be interested in trading Nate Solder, but I'll definitely take a look on that after I'm done going live, and if it's legitimate, I'll make a video on it. I think we should trade for Ingram for both the Jags first rounders. I think we should. Oh, the fourth pick and Ingram for the Jags fourth rounders and a second. I mean, that's possible. Jets just posted about worst time. Makes a lot of sense for them, guard or tackle. I could see the Jets taking him. I think the Jets were rumored to be interested in him. What was Solder's 40 to? I have no idea. It wouldn't be very good. Wouldn't be very good, man. When are you dropping your? I'm working on the rap album actually, Baviz. I'm hoping to have that up in. I'm hoping to have that up in a couple of weeks. The rap album. No, I'm not a rapper. Chip Kelly, how you been there, feller? Chip Kelly's the man, dude. $2 super chat from Chip. He says, "Howdy. You ever have cotton candy grapes, feller?" Cotton candy grapes. I've never had those. Cotton candy grapes. I wonder what that would taste like. It doesn't sound too appetizing, Chip Kelly. I'll trade Evan Ingram for Rose's replace. Yeah, me too, Afghanistan. Get him off the team. They're not going to keep him anyway. I don't think, anyway. We'll see. But I do think if Evan Ingram stays, he's going to have a good year if he could stay healthy. I'll say that. But the reason I'd be open to trading him is because I don't think they're going to keep him. I don't think they're going to keep him. Lamell Sinclair is in and out of sleep. Yeah. Yeah, demonic. That 40 time is insane. And I know you're a Jet fan, so I'm sure you got your eyes on him. If he could fall there, I think you're picking 12, right? 11 or 12. So I'm sure you got your eyes on him. I've never even heard of cotton grapes. I'm gonna have to give him a try. What's going on there? Okay. Not going to say that name, but I appreciate that. All right. Hey, yeah, good name there. Good name there. Good name there. I'm thinking that might be the J guy. It's the same orange profile color. Do you think we will re-sign Rosa? I do. Do I think we'll re-sign Rosas? I think they're going to give him another year. If I had to guess, I think they're going to give him another year. Taking anyone from the Patriots is fool's gold. I mean, we obviously you would think we learned our lesson with Nate Solder. Usually when the Patriots let a guy go, there's a reason. I'll agree with that. If it's a short-term deal, I don't mind bringing in some of the Patriots players, but I don't want to sign them to a 5-year deal, a long-term deal like we did with Nate Solder. And now they're showing the vertical jump. This guy's a hell of an athlete. Tristan Wirfs, 36.5 on the... Okay, so Tristan Wirfs had the highest vertical jump since 2003 for an offensive lineman. And he ran the fastest 40 time today. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Wow. Crazy, man. Damien, it's going pretty good, man. It's I'm down. Yeah, for those of you that do not know, I made a bet. I'm sure some of you guys obviously know who Bad Dog is. If you haven't, go subscribe to him. Bad Dog is a lunatic. He does 24-hour streams twice a year. I don't know how he does it. And I said I would never do that. And I've been trying to lose weight. And I told my subscribers, tell you what, I need incentive. If I am not 180 pounds by June 1st, I will do a 24-hour stream. And I was 216.2 when I started. And that was about 2 weeks ago. And I'm down to 210.6. So I got to lose about 30 pounds in the next 3 months. So it's about 10 pounds a month. It's going to be tough. But we're fighting towards 180. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Oh, man. Does this guy think we're going to just, let him, he's just not going to be able to stick around on the stream much longer. Do people think that they come in here, they're just going to be able to keep talking with silly names like that? I have mods. I have mods for a reason. I have mods. Oh, Chip Kelly, thanks so much for the love, man. I appreciate it, man. $2 super chat you can forget about. He says, howdy, you ever have cotton candy grapes, fella? No, Chip Kelly 2 is in the chat now. And no, I've never had them. I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm gonna have to look into that after the stream. Do keto for a month, your weight will fall right up. Yeah, I saw what's his name does that is the Cowboys YouTuber. I can't remember his name. He's funny. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he does that. I'm just trying to eat healthier and exercise. I'm going to the gym, and so far it's working. It's not, they're not falling off, but I'm doing it. I'm pacing myself. Chris, I linked you on Twitter to the video of what Ian said so you could see. I will definitely check it out, man. I appreciate it, man. Yaman's the man. Chip Kelly 3 is coming soon. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at that after dinner, Wuggle. I'm probably gonna end the live stream probably in about, I don't know, half hour. And I'll take a look. I'm gonna eat dinner after. And then I'll take a look. I'll probably make a video. But I'm not surprised. I mean, I just don't know if the Giants are gonna get anything back. I don't know who. I mean, another injury here. Looks like a guy twisted his ankle. Damian Lewis. It's the second injury we've seen during these drills. Yeah, Mark Holmes. That's right, OGR. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate it, man. He says Mark Holmes is the YouTuber you're thinking of. Yes, he does the keto diet. Yes, that's right. You need to play me one-on-one in basketball. You got it, Damien. You got it, man. But I'm looking forward to I'm sure Tristan Wirfs is going to look impressive on this drill, too. They show him going, side-to-side quickness, whatever drill this is. I'm sure he's going to look good here. Tristan Wirfs, obviously the standout, and Becton. For a man his size, they've been the standout in this combine. Kenneth Murray dropping in the linebacker rank. Well, I've seen Murray going end of first, beginning of the second, mid-second. I haven't looked at a mock in the last couple of days. I don't know if he's fallen even more. Steven Gutierrez, can I get an update? What do you need an update on, Steven Gutierrez? Oh, these friggin' people, man. These friggin' people, man. In terms of the update, Becton ran a 5.11, and Wirfs ran a 4.86. Those are the that's the update. Becton didn't really do many of the other drills. I think he did one other. And yeah, that's the major update in terms of the main offensive lineman. Becton would be one of the only linemen I would be okay and excited from a watching perspective to take. Well, I get it. He's big. Oh, I ignore them, Bill M. I mean, they just get blocked. They get blocked after a second. I ignore them. Would I like Julian Okwara in the second? I wouldn't be upset, man. Depending on what we do in the first. I did a video on Okwara. To me, Okwara has a really high ceiling. I like Okwara to Notre Dame. I would not be upset with Okwara. I appreciate that, DJB. Big Daddy, I'm with you on that. Brady, I'm not a fan of Brady at this point in time. Chris, a little birdie told me you're making a 7-round mock draft. No, I'm making a New York Giants specific 7-round mock draft. Did you know Jerry Jones thinks about Dez Bryant in the shower? He probably does. He probably does. People like that let you... Oh, I know, Mook Man. Trust me. I know. As you get bigger, one thing I've noticed, and it's not just... And I don't point anything out, but one thing you notice on YouTube, as you get bigger, not only do you get more hate in your comments in terms of trolls, you get more hate on other channels for no reason. But it is what it is, man. That's the way life is, man. When not just YouTube, anything in life, people, I guess, as people become better at what they do, people, as much as more people may like them, there's more people that hate you too, and that's just something you got to accept, man. That's just life. You think we're gonna pick up a linebacker in the first 2 rounds? Ask me that after free agency. I think it's definitely a possibility. If we don't address it in free agency, we have to address the linebacker position, whether it's free agency or the draft. Our linebackers are horrible. We just let go of Alec Ogletree. So we could elect to add Corey Littleton. We could elect to add somebody like Schobert, or we could draft one. And if we don't add a linebacker in free agency, I would say it's very likely we'll take one in the first 2 rounds. Now, it may not be Simmons. We might wait until round 2 and take someone like Queen. But we'll see. I appreciate that, Bill. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that, man. Chris, did you hear that Dez might come back to the Cowboys? I did not hear that. I mean, there's been rumors about him coming back forever. Matter of fact, I'm surprised we haven't heard Dez to the Giants. Not that I want it. Here's Andrew Thomas, by the way, showing the side-to-side quickness. He looks pretty good there. He looks pretty nimble on his feet there. I have not heard that, but I'm surprised we haven't heard it to the Giants, being that Jason Garrett's the coach. I'm just surprised those rumors haven't started to spout about. Oh, Chip Kelly, man, thanks for that, man. I really appreciate that, man. $5 super chat. Bends the knees. He says, I've been doing intermittent fasting, eating meals at 5, then not eating again for 24 hours. I was 220 January 15th. I'm 195 now. Soda is poison. Don't drink it, kids. That is insane. So you didn't eat for... That I could never do. You didn't eat for 24 hours, Chip? That I won't do. That doesn't sound healthy to me. But I agree with you. You can't drink soda. Soda's bad. That's why I drink water. I don't drink beer on streams. I drink water. Oh, man, OGR, man. Thanks for that, man. I really appreciate that, man. $5 super chat from OGR. He says, check out Pert from UConn, later round prospect, putting a solid combine and solid in drills together. I'll definitely take a look on him after the draft, man. I'll definitely take a look after I'm done with the combine. I always go back. Obviously, a lot of this is more like a Q&A and a hangout. But I'm going to go back, look at the highlights of all the offensive linemen, see what people have to say about them after the draft in terms of the 3-cone drill, everything else. And I'll definitely take a look at him. Willie Buck, 24 hours. That's crazy, though. That's crazy. Yeah, I only drink water, eat fish, chicken, and vegetables, no carbs or sugar. Once in a while, you got to cheat a little bit, but yeah, it's tough. I don't think I could fast for 24 hours. The one thing I've heard, and Tristan Wirfs is fast, man. My dog is barking, by the way. I apologize. Tristan Wirfs is fast for an offensive lineman. They just showed his side-to-side quickness. This guy is an athlete. You know what? Don't be surprised. We've heard the rumors about the Giants being interested in him. Don't be surprised if the Giants take this guy. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Guy is fast. You went 40 hours with no food? That's crazy, man. Yeah, Wirfs looks impressive, Keys. Willie, man, he looks good, man. He looks good, man. I think let's put it this way: the Giants fans that want an offensive lineman, I don't think many of them are going to be upset if we take this kid. He looks like a damn good athlete to me. Coach Rivera, defensive coordinator Del Rio, I will wear a Giants bowl cap all season long if the Skins don't draft young. Whiskey, I agree with you. The only way you're not drafting young is if you trade down. If you're at 2, you're drafting young. The only way you wouldn't take him is if you get blown away by an offer. Take your time with fat loss. It's not a race. There's no magical diet. Cause I agree. It's about changing your lifestyle. Diets don't work. They work short term. Yeah, no, I know Willie Bum Bum. I love that name, by the way, Willie Bum Bum. I remember when I did the research on him, they said he was an elite wrestler, an elite athlete. But a lot of people think he's more of a guard. But at the end of the day, I just want to hit with that pick. We have a lot of holes on our offensive line. And if he works out to be a guard, obviously you're going to stick him at the tackle to start, but Zeitler's not going to be here much longer. He works out to be a guard. If he's an all-pro offensive lineman, I'm happy with it. Obviously, in an ideal world, you want a left tackle. I don't think he's going to be a left tackle. I think Solder, if you drafted him, would be the left tackle. You'd start him probably at the right tackle to start his career, and you see where it goes from there if you end up drafting him. You're a Willie Bum Bum, Chris, you bum. He couldn't even spell that word right, Sonor. There's no space in it. Chris, I saw that post about Nate Solder too. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look. I'm gonna take a look after the stream. I'll probably make a video on that after. But my initial thought on that, before reading what people have to say, I don't think anybody's trading for Nate Solder. Of course, the Giants have interest in trading him. Can't imagine anybody taking on his contract. Chris, prediction for my favorite player, Isaiah Simmons, Combine Day. Oh, man. In terms of 40 time, I'm going to say he's going to run a sub 4.4. I'll say a 4.35. 4.35 40. Guy, I mean, he might even do better than that. He's a former track star. But I'll say 4.35, 4.36, 40. But he might even do better than that. Is the New York Knicks hat. It's their alternate logo. Am I going to be live tomorrow? No. I work tomorrow. I work 9 hours tomorrow. I work till 11 p.m., so no. That's why on Saturdays you don't see a lot of videos. I'll probably have one up early. But yeah, no, tomorrow I will not be live. Yeah, Big Dad, it's just a tool. I mean, the film is by far the most important thing. We have to suffer with Sol this year. We can cut him next year. Oh, we're definitely going to cut him next year if he's still on the team. Would I be happy if we traded down with the Raiders? It depends what players we end up with, and it depends what we get. I mean, I'm assuming, obviously, 12 and 19. And if we get another second with that, and we could still get a really good... Say we could end up with Wirfs at 12 and get a future second with the 19th, yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm definitely happy. No, I'm not a stripper. I'm not a stripper. Not a stripper. Chris, if you're Dave, who do you take it for? One name. Oh, man. Who's there? Tell me the first 3 picks. Who's the first 3 picks? And who do we add in free agency? What do we address in free agency and who are the first 3 picks? Wow, Big Daddy. You really are a Big Daddy. You were 300, now you won. That's awesome, man. Congratulations, man. 128 pounds. That's crazy. Am I really a stripper? No. If you think you think I would weigh 216 if I did that for a profession? Just so the video you put up last year when you heard rumors of Dan. Yeah, I was not happy, Jordan. I was nervous. I was not happy. Yeah, of course I know what Tupac is. Overall, who you want, and of course, Young, Burrow, and Okuda. Okay. Young, Burrow, and Okuda gone. And I'm assuming. Listen, I still want to go tackle. Unless we address tackle in free agency. That's why I asked about free agency. It's tough to say, man. I going into the combine, I said Andrew Thomas. I'm happy with any one of those four guys, but I want to trade down. I don't want to stay where we are. But it depends on what we do in free agency. It really does. Like, I think to be able to take, just my personal opinion, for us not to take a tackle with our first pick in this year's draft, I think we need to address the tackle in free agency. And if we did not address the linebacker in free agency and we addressed the tackle, I'd probably take Isaiah Simmons. But I'm of the mindset of I want to take a tackle. Whether it's Thomas, whether it's Wirfs, whether it's Wills, whether it's Becton. I want to take a tackle. Oh, man, Malik's the man. What's going on, Malik? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. $5 super chat bends the knees. He says, oh, my God, what's up, yo? I was on the game and didn't notice the time. What did I miss? And did anyone show out? Yeah, Tristan Wirfs. Tristan Wirfs, who obviously you remember the report that came out about a week ago that the Giants are interested in him. He had the best vertical jump since 2003 for an offensive lineman. He looked good on the side-to-side drill they just had. He ran a 4.86 40 for an offensive lineman with a 1.69 10-yard split. And Becton ran a 5.11 with a 1.73 10-yard split. 1.73 or 1.76. Both of them had very impressive run times. Becton didn't do most of the other drills. Yeah, Malik, he killed it. He killed it. He killed it, man. He killed it. Do you like Alex Smith as a potential backup? The problem with Alex Smith as a potential backup, I think Alex Smith he's going to look for, I could be wrong, but I would think he'd want the opportunity to at least compete for a starting quarterback position. I could be wrong, but I think that he's gonna look to start. I don't see him coming in knowing he's the backup. So I don't think that's the type of player we're looking at. Benny Farts is a hell of a player. Hell of a player, Sonor. Who do you think will be a Hall of Famer in this draft class? The most likely Hall of Famer in this draft class is probably Chase Young. Because I think, you go back and look at the most recent drafts. Usually when there's a guy at that position that everybody thinks is an elite talent, they usually work out. Now, go back and look at the last 4 or 5 drafts of the first pass rusher taken. They almost all have been very productive pros. So if you asked me who would I think is the most realistic guy, the safest bet to be a Hall of Famer, I would say Chase Young. Now, there's a number of guys who could be Hall of Famers. Jerry Jeudy could be a Hall of Famer. CeeDee Lamb could be a Hall of Famer. Any one of these offensive linemen could be a Hall of Famer. So Isaiah Simmons could be a Hall of Famer. But I would say Chase Young is the most realistic. Chase Young. Gandy Golden at wide receiver. 4th round? Sure, why not? Chris, what if we sign a big-time pass rusher for agency? Would it make sense to take Young at 4 if he's there? He'd have to have great value to trade down. If we are at the end of the day, man, TD, you could never have enough pass rushers on a football team. And even if we signed, let's just say we signed Unique, if Chase Young is there, which I don't think he will be, I think it's like literally a 1%, 2% chance. But if Chase Young is there and you think he's a generational player, I still think you could draft him. I honestly don't see a problem doing it. I would want to address the offensive line, but if you think he's that type of talent, I mean, look what the Niners did this year. The Niners did the same exact thing. They traded for D Ford. D Ford's getting paid a lot of money, and then they drafted Bosa. So I don't think that I would be opposed to that. I just don't think Chase Young's going to be there. But no, I don't think that's crazy. Have a great, Lamel, I'm packing it up soon too, man. But thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in, who's shown love, my best subscribers on the planet are here, man. Best subscribers on the planet are here. I think Jake Fromm will go late because he ran a 5. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I don't think Jake Fromm was going in the first round no matter what. I've never been a huge fan of Jake Fromm. I remember watching the bowl games last year. I'm not the hugest college football guy, but I remember watching him in the bowl games last year when he was with Georgia, not being that impressed with him. I don't think Jake Fromm's going to, maybe a third-round pick. I don't think he's going to be a first or maybe a second, but I doubt it. I appreciate that, Kush. Who showed up for bench reps? I didn't get a look at all the bench reps. I know that Becton, some people were disappointed with. I think he only did 21, but you got to keep in mind how long his arms are. And at the end of the day, bench reps aren't that important. The 3-cone drill is the most important, in my opinion. What's going on, Big Bang? Listen, I recognize that we could draft Brown. I said that last night. I just said that if you ask me which guy is somewhat realistic that we could draft, which one would make me the most upset, it would be Brown. I don't want Brown. I really appreciate that, Giants freak, man. Thank you very much, man. It means the world to me. Yeah, man. I know there's a lot of Giants fans out there like myself that, and listen, I'm a huge Mets fan too, and I'm gonna have some baseball coverage up as well. But I know there's a lot of gigantic Giants fans up there like myself that crave football content all year round, and that's what I try to do for you guys, man. So I try to keep up with the team, and even after the draft, I'm gonna try my best to produce a daily video, up until training camp and everything else. There's always going to be news about OTAs, and there's always going to be something to talk about this entire offseason. Curious to see how many records Simmons will break. He's gonna be impressive tomorrow, that's for sure. Are NASCAR drivers considered athletes? No, in my opinion. I recognize that it requires endurance. I don't watch the sport. I have no interest in ever watching the sport. A lot of people say it does require endurance because you have to do all those laps, and I guess it's hot in there, whatever. But I don't consider them athletes. I mean, Sonora. I'm a Knicks fan. It's hard to love basketball when the Knicks are as bad as they are. I cannot get into I love playoff basketball. I can't get into regular season basketball. Regular season, to me, of all the sports, unless the Knicks are good, the NBA, the regular season is the worst. It's the worst. Because you know all the teams that are going to be there. I can't get into the NBA unless it's the Knicks until the playoffs. Can't do it. That's just me. I was watching film for the lineman from Alabama, and every time Brown came to him, he went nowhere, so you don't want him to. I was watching, you talking about Wills? Malik? Would I trade Tomlinson for a third-round pick? Louis says. I love Tomlinson. If we're keeping Leonard Williams, I'd be open to trading him. I'd be open to trading him because I think it's a position where we have a lot of talent already. He's one of my favorite players on the team, though. I really wish we didn't trade for Leonard Williams. They're showing Tristan Wirfs compared to Trent Williams. Trent Williams had a really impressive 40 time, too, in his combine. He ran a 4.88. Wirfs ran a 4.85. Will I do a Hooper video? You talking about the tight end? I mean, if you're new to my channel, I mean, last year get ready, guys. I know you guys aren't going to watch all of them, but the day of free agency, I release every major signing. I'm going to release a video. I'm not going to do every one, but every major signing, regardless of team, I'm going to release a video. Now, in terms of the Giants, they're going to be more in depth. You know, they'll be like 8-10 minute videos. But yeah, I'm sure I'll probably do a video on Hooper, wherever he signs. Still live. I am gonna end it probably in about 10 minutes. But yeah, I'm hanging out. I haven't been live in a while, so I like to hang out and talk to you guys for as long as I can. No, dude, are you kidding me? Hot Take Hockey, man. You're the man, dude. Anybody that's a hockey fan needs to go over there and check out HTH. Would you be open to trade Barkley for Fournette? And no, I'm not. I don't know why. You know, and everybody, like I said, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I don't understand why Giants fans want to trade Barkley so much. I completely understand Giants fans that think we shouldn't have drafted him second overall. But now that he's on the team, I honestly don't know why people want to trade him. You're not going to get, in my opinion, you're not going to get near what you think you could get. And the guy's a leader on the football team. He's the guy that we're building the team around. We got to hope it works out. Chip Kelly, thank you so much for the love, man. $5 super chat, bends the knees. He says there was a bunch of studies done where they gave rats cocaine and sugar. The rats chose sugar. I actually remember reading that over cocaine every time. This wide receiver class could be the best ever. Unrelated, but this could be a great wide receiver class. But I remember reading that study actually, and sugar is very addictive. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to stream the draft with Bad Dog. I'm sure I'll stream the draft with Bad Dog. Hot Take Hockey. We're not trading Saquon Barkley. I just don't see it. I recognize why fans would want to trade him because they don't want to pay him that big contract, but we're not trading him. You don't trade players like that. In my opinion. Now, you would say the same thing about Odell Beckham, but there's a big difference with Odell Beckham. Two major differences with Odell Beckham. One, Odell Beckham had a major injury, first off, right? He missed time before. But the biggest reason with Odell Beckham, the guy was not a good, in my opinion, and some people say that people said he was good in the locker room. Odell Beckham was not the best teammate, and he had off-the-field problems. The guy, you know, I don't got to go through all the details. We know what he did. Okay, the boat trip, not that I'm just fully blaming him. Victor Cruz was involved in that. You had the cocaine incident in the offseason. He was drama off the field. Saquon Barkley is not that. Saquon Barkley is exactly what you want in a football player. I don't see it. There's no way we're going to trade him. We're not trading him. Oh, thank you, Big Bang, man. Thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get the Mets content up. I'm hoping in like 2 weeks. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a daily video every day, but I'm going to stream Met games, do the play-by-play, and I want to have a weekly, at least like podcast type thing for the Mets, whether it's live or whether it's recorded. That's something I definitely want to work on. And occasional videos, you know, maybe once every 3 or 4 days, just recapping a series, things like that. But I'm definitely going to be live a lot for the Mets, at least twice a week in season, calling the games after the draft. But thanks a lot, man. Big Bang. Thank you for being a great supporter, man. $10 super chat. He says, looking forward to some Mets content. Talking Barkley trade is blasphemous. We're not trading Saquon Barkley. When were your first? I mean, when the Mets. I'll probably, if I'm not going to opening day, I'll probably live stream opening day. As long as it fits my schedule. I don't know what day they're playing. I know it's during the day, but if I'm off, I'll stream it. In terms, I got to work on that. I know I got to talk to the Dolphins YouTuber I worked with. He's a big Mets fan, and I talked with him, and I wanted to do a Mets show with him once a week. So I'm working on that. I got to talk to him. So you guys reminded me. I'm hoping to start that in like 2 or 3 weeks, man. Talk about the Mets. So I'm looking forward to it. Malik, man, thanks a lot, man, for love, man. He says, so what's your opinion, best lineman in the draft? I'll say this, man. The guy that helped his stock the most today it's got to be worse. It's got to be worse. Helped this stock the most today. Without knowing the stats for the 3-cone drill, the guy's been an incredible athlete. And Becton obviously helped his stock a little bit too. Running the times he did. Wills did a good job too. I suppose the least impressive of the four in terms of the drills, at least so far, has been Andrew Thomas. But Andrew Thomas is the guy that is the definite left tackle. It's a really hard question. Offensive linemen are very hard to judge. Now, when I looked at the film by Lombardi, they all have weaknesses, and they all have things to work on. I think Becton might have the highest ceiling of the four, but he also is probably the biggest risk. It's a tough judgment call. I would say Wills, Wirfs helped themselves a lot today, though, as well as Becton. I appreciate that, Byron, man. Thanks a lot, man. My next live stream. Well, I'm working all day tomorrow. I'm sure I'm going to go live probably within the next 3 or 4 days. I don't know what it'll be. Maybe I'll mix in a play-by-play to a basketball game. Maybe. I don't want to guarantee that. Like I said, the Giants live streams are going to pick up in about 2 weeks. Mid-March, I'm going to do 2 Giant live streams every week, including hopefully the Talking Giants show soon. I know Bad Dog's been very busy with his life, getting everything in check there. But at least twice a week, if not 3 times a week. Once free agency's around the corner, I'm going to be live for the Giants. I'm going to mix in the Mets once baseball season's underway. So I'll be doing a lot. I'll be doing a lot. I'll be live a lot. At least 2 times a week, every week. Once baseball season hits, once free agency's around the corner, the draft, everything else. So there'll be a lot of sports coverage. I'm a huge Mets fan, too, if you need someone as a guest. Yeah, New York Sports MC. He's got a channel over there, too, man. Yeah, definitely. Definitely would have you on the channel once baseball season's underway. Hanson Flea says, Wirfs or Becton and Wills are neck and neck. It's unbelievable how far Thomas has dropped. I see him as a mid-first round. It's insane, man. And we'll see what they say in the mocks, but he did not have a very impressive combine today. By all, I'll see what the experts say, but he looks slower on his feet, too, than the others, But we'll see what they have to say. But it's crazy because if you go back, yeah, Ben, I'm a big Mets fan, actually. Huge Mets fan. I'm just as big of a Mets fan as I am a Giants fan. It's just that baseball's not popular on YouTube. But if you go back, Handsome Flea, like a month ago, people were talking about Andrew Thomas being potentially the best player in the draft, and people might still feel that way. But yeah, I think I don't think he helped his draft stock today. I'll say that. You like Will? Yeah. A lot of people like him. I had a mock to the Giants in my first mock, Malik. I like him too. What is going on, Rudy T? Rudy T, man, I'm only going to be alive for like 5 more minutes, but I did mention you in my video today. You asked a great question yesterday, and sure enough, Derek Brown comes out today, that the Giants are potentially interested in him. But Rudy's the man. Thank you for popping in, buddy. Most draft picks are risks. Look how many NFL starters were never drafted. Of course, Joseph Santiago. Of course, most draft picks are risks. You look at, there's been so many number 1 overall picks that have been complete busts. A lot of the draft is luck. I mean, let's be real. A lot of the draft has to do with fit. A lot of the draft has to do with. There are so many quarterbacks, if you go back and look at the course of history, that I can argue if they were put in a much better situation, they would have been good quarterbacks. It's a team game, man, at the end of the day, and the head coach and the surrounding team has a lot to do with the player's success. But a lot of it has to do with luck, too. There are so many guys that you would have thought would have been slam dunk prospects that don't work out. Reggie Bush. There's an example of a guy that wasn't a complete bust, but he was a guy that people were saying was Barry Sanders in college. He turned out to be a pretty good running back. There's a number of guys that not even just a traditional bust that don't live up to what you think they're going to be. Crazy how he was debating him or Chase Young with the second overall pick when we still had the pick. Yeah. I mean, everybody was. Handsome Flea. Chris, remember last week I messaged you about Brown because I watched his tape and he does destroy the middle. If they get fast outside linebackers and sign Jones, it makes sense. Listen, man, I have no doubt about Brown. I've watched some film on Brown myself. I like Brown. If they let go, like I said in my video, the only way it would make any sense is if they let Leonard Williams walk and they were able to get him by trading down. Even then, I wouldn't be in love with it, but I would understand it. That's the only way it makes any sense to me. If you already have B.J. Hill, Leonard, and not to say B.J. Hill was great last year, but if you have Dalvin Tomlinson, who's been pretty good, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, it's not a smart pick. If you let Leonard Williams walk, at least it's debatable. Mike Nixon, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate that. $5 super chat. He says, Entertainer, Injustice got a report that the Buccaneers are leaning towards tagging Barrett over Winston. To be honest with you, Mike, that doesn't surprise me. And that's actually good news for Giants fans, believe it or not. Potentially, for those of you that want to trade down. Now, I don't know if you want to trade all the way down to 13 or 14, but they were not committal to Winston 3 or 4 days ago. So that leaves them open for potentially trading up. I don't know if I'd want to trade back that far. And you'd have to get at least a future first if you're trading there because they don't have a second first-round pick. But that very well could mean that they're in the market for a quarterback. If they don't bring Winston back, they could, of course, sign one in free agency. That's another thing we got to wait to play out. Rangers Flyers starting soon. There you go. Enjoy the game, man. Would I like Nate Sudfeld as a backup for the Giants? I want them to fill. I want to fill their depth in through the draft with the offensive line. Fill it in. I want to. Thank you for the quality content. Can't imagine YouTube without you, Tana. Bends the knees. I appreciate that, Nikki. Thank you very much. And thanks again for telling me about Lombardi. Yeah, he's great, man. He's friggin' awesome. A bunch of I've watched him before. I watched him in season. He's great. But a bunch of my subscribers pointed me to him for the offensive line film. So I checked it out. He does a great job. It's a great channel. Yeah, I'll probably do a spring training game or two as it gets closer. I'll probably do a spring training game or two as it gets closer for the Mets. Tua to the Giants. No. No. Not happening, man. He might go to your team. I see you're a Dolphin fan. He might go to your team. He ain't going to the Giants. But we'll see. But, guys, I've been live for 3 hours. I had a lot of fun. I love doing this, talking football with you guys, hanging out with you guys. I'm looking forward to going live more as the draft and free agency gets closer. And like I said, I'll probably do at least a baseball game or two in season. And yeah, I appreciate you guys, everything you do for my channel. I got to eat, take a break. And yeah, I'll take a look into the Nate Solder thing, see if I'll do a video on that. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for being great supporters of the channel. You guys have a great night. You guys are the best. Thank you guys. Let's go Giants.